On today's show, I'm going to talk about some Mando payback. Mike has a review that's out of this world, and Pat's going to show us some flashy collectibles on the horizon. Welcome to your favorite live streaming whatnotting podcast, Comics and Collectibles in the Crawl Space. I am your third or fourth favorite podcasting host, Kevin. And of course, I've got all the regulars here today to make it a perfect show. Hello, Patrick.
Hello, Kevin.
See, I switched it up there so you couldn't get that. Yeah. And of course, the amazing Michael.
What's up, fellas? Hello.
I reused that adjective. I need to switch that up. I didn't see. That's another thing in show prep. I gotta get those adjectives right. So, hey, so before we start today, I know we've got a lot of exciting stuff to talk about today, but we also have something that we haven't talked about in a while that has just finally become exciting. You guys know what that is?
I do.
I think I do.
Well,
what?
I think I do too.
Is it a giveaway?
It is a give. Isn't that exciting?
Yeah.
It is exciting. So the Scruffles Gold Sweepstakes.
Wipe the dust off of that one.
Yeah. To remind everyone, everyone that has shared, commented, retweeted, followed, liked, and subscribed any of our content, you were entered, whether you knew it or not, in our Scruffles Gold Sweepstakes. And the Scruffle Gold Sweepstakes comes to an end whenever we hit our subscription goal. And we did. Audience, isn't that exciting?
Are we the audience?
Clearly that
It is. Oh, that's right. I forgot. The studio audience this year.
So we just randomly, unexpectedly hit our...
Yeah. They were so quiet, and now they won't shut up.
Our sub goal, which was the seemingly easy long ago 50 subs. But I'm not embarrassed to say that that's what the simple goal was. And it took us so long, we gave up on trying to use the giveaway to provoke it and just moved on. But then it just happened on its own. So I guess that means our content's getting better, So especially if you're listening now, give us a sub if you haven't already. So, excuse me, we need to just talk about when we're going to do the giveaway for that and how it's going to work real quick. So basically, I'm going to have to get a big list of all of those things together. And then what I was thinking is I would just use the same tactics that I use for my whatnot giveaway and just put them in a bin. And then I'll draw, and this is a question for you, Mike. What's the max number of people that can be on your wheel? Do you know?
I don't know. I can find that out.
Okay, so let's say it's 50, okay?
Right.
So I'm going to put all of everything in a bin and then draw 50 of them, and then that's what you'll put on a wheel.
Okay.
So then on the next show, we can actually spin the wheel on the show to see who's going to be the big winner of the Scruffles Gold Sweepstakes. Does that sound a good idea?
Yeah. Can you just make sure everybody's name is short? Bunch of Joe Smiths.
I'll do my best. If they aren't short, we'll use some kind of abbreviation. So, anyway, to remind everybody what the giveaway is as well, it is for a CGC copy. I do believe it's a 9.8 Batman, the Catwoman wedding issue. Man, I should have had all this in front of me. But what number is that? Like 50?
I think it's 50.
Okay. And it's the one where there's a bunch of covers for that, of course. So it's the one where Bruce is looking in the mirror and sees Batman, right? Or does he see Catwoman? Anyway, you know that cover.
Yeah.
And then we're also giving away a classic Batman action figure, a Miles Morales pop, 2 tickets to see a movie, and a credit towards buying something digitally on Voodoo.
And that's all to one winner.
All to one winner, yeah. And a pack of trading card game pack as well. I think we'll go with Magic on that. I don't think we ever determined. I think we were talking originally like whoever would win could decide. Well, I guess we'll just do that. It'll either be Magic or Pokemon, and whoever the winner is can let me know once I reach out to them that they've won. But that's a big pot.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. So I'm gonna double down here though. So it's official. We're giving that away on the next show, which I didn't talk to you guys about in the pre-game show too. Might actually be 2 weeks. We talked about it maybe being 2 weeks regarding Cover Combat, and then we said, oh, that's not necessary. But then I might have other things that came up that actually need the next show to be in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, we can push Cover Combat 4. You know, it could be 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Well, that's actually going to be the final. Also, we could.
The final's next week.
That's what I'm saying. I want to push next week.
Push the whole show?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wasn't tracking.
I didn't talk about that in the pregame. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But this is perfect. Listen to this. Okay. So here's why I'm mentioning it. So we got the Scruffles Gold Sweepstakes. I'm still going to give people one more week to share, comment, like, subscribe to be entered. Okay. So all the things that you can do to enter the goal, the Scruffles Gold Sweepstakes, like I said, share, comment, retweet, follow, like, subscribe. Any of those will get you an entry. Do any of those and you'll get an entry.
Is each one an entry per individual?
No. Everybody gets one entry. Yeah.
Okay.
So you got one more week to do that. And then next week I can start calculating to then be prepared because it's going to take me a while to be prepared for when we actually give it away on the next show. So then 2 weeks from now will be the next show, and it'll include the giveaway, the huge giveaway, and the Cover Combat Finals.
Gotcha.
And you want to skip a week after the finals for a in case you didn't know segment before we start the next Cover Combat, right, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be in case you didn't know, but I think it's good to skip a week or so between the finals and the next round, so we can. And I think that's a good opportunity to fill it with, and in case you didn't know or something else.
What's going on with Pokemon? Yeah, that's true. That's the other. So the good news is we have a winner, or we've reached our goal. So we're going to find out the winner for the Scruffles Gold Sweepstakes. We'll reveal that in 2 weeks. You've still got 1 week to do all the things that you could possibly do to enter it. Then in 2 weeks, so you're going to have 2 weeks to vote on the Cover Combat 3 finals, right, Mike?
Yep.
And then the bad news is I was also incorrect. I said we were going to do a Pokemon segment this week on the show, but due to my poor reading skills, I misunderstood a text. So our friend Michael could not make today. He can make a future show after today, basically, and I'll talk to him about it being in 2 weeks. So that's when we'll do that as well. So Unless we want to do it for 3 weeks when it's the show in between the finals and the new start. But
then we may have Kirk on here for a video game segment as well.
Oh yeah. We've got that too. Okay, yes, we got plenty of stuff for everybody. I'm talking about a lot of boring stuff. This is what we used to do on the show all the time. That's why we had a hard time getting up a bunch of subs. Yeah. So enough of all that. But big giveaway. Do all subscribe, comment, retweet, follow, likes, share everything you can do to be an enter in that entry in that giveaway, and we'll do that in 2 weeks. All right.
Right.
So now we're going to get into the cool stuff that people actually come to the show.
House cleaning is done. Let's go ahead and get to the show.
Exactly. All right, here we go. All right, awesome. Do you want me to put the thing up for you, Mike?
Yeah. I was watching that, and this week really felt like some of those battles where covers were being taken out pretty aggressively.
Okay.
All right. I was a little behind because I was watching the show. I was watching the cartoon there. Oh, hold on.
You know how you're majorly critical of your own work, like typically more critical than other people are of your work, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I remember hating, I shouldn't say hate's strong word, but anyway, I disliked pretty much all of my animation when I originally made it, but it's grown on me now. I think it's actually pretty good. And I'm like, wow, I actually made that. That's not too bad. How the heck did I do that? That kind of thing,
Yeah, I like them. That's actually one of my favorite ones just because of the different ways we're attacking each other. I think it's pretty fun.
Yeah. All right. This is I'm already a little bit I'm feeling anxious here. This is pretty exciting stuff, especially our text conversation too. I thought that was kind of funny. We won't reveal what that was, but when you and I talked about my picks.
Yeah. That was some surprising picks, some surprising results, some results that were expected. There's only 3 matchups, but it was everything.
All right.
So let's get to the first one. We have All-Star Superman number 6 versus Amazing Spider-Man 539. There are a lot of people that love both of these covers. Obviously, I mean, they made
this is a tough one. This is definitely tough. Yeah.
Yep.
I'll say this is the hardest one. This is the toughest one of the 3 that are left. Yeah.
It's not even the closest one this week.
Oh, really? Yeah.
This one is actually we have 63% of the vote went to the winner, 37% went to the loser.
Oh, jeez.
Are we ready?
When you hear that number, Pat, do you automatically assume the 63% is with the one you voted?
I do not. I don't know what to think anymore. Yeah. I will say that going into this last round, these were the only 2 covers I voted for into this round. So I had to pick one of my favorites here.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that makes it hard. You're like, I'm just going to vote these all the way through, and then they match each other.
Yeah.
All right, here we go with 63%. 63%. And moving on.
These?
No, we don't need drum roll. Sorry. And moving on to the final 3, we have Amazing Spider-Man 539.
The studio audience is happy with that as well.
So it's safe to say now that All-Star Superman number 6 was one of my covers.
Oh.
And I love it. It's just one of my favorites.
I was going to submit All-Star Superman number 1. It was very close to making my 8, but it got booted at the last second. So
yeah,
I was happy to back that one.
Yeah, that I would have voted for that one as well. I love that cover. This one's just a little more somber. So.
Yeah, but these are both good, and yeah, definitely. Regardless of what you're saying with what was the closest and farthest, this was, in my opinion, for me, was the toughest of the three matchups. Yeah,
because they're both really likable.
Yeah,
the other ones, that's like love hate on the next two matchups.
Oh, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, these are both likable. Yeah,
yeah. So let's get to the crazy business. We've got Amazing Spider-Man 528, which is
Steel City
Spider-Man, yep, versus Uncanny X-Men 493,
which we realized last week is the Inconsiderate Cable cover.
Right, resting the child's head on
the hard arm.
Yeah, not the soft arm. Yeah. And the winner here had 74% of the vote.
Oh my God. Here's what's ironic about that percentage is I feel like this is going to be Steel City Spider-Man then, because I feel like there's been so much seemingly to us inexplicable love for the Steel City Spider-Man up to this point. There's no way that X-Men would get a landslide like that. I could be wrong, obviously, but that's where my thoughts are right now.
I hit my mouse. Yeah. It's everyone's like, oh, dog piles on top of it, and then it's like underdog.
Yeah. All right, what do we got?
All right, with 74% of the vote, the biggest winning gap this week.
Oh,
Uncanny X-Men. Defeats the over muscular Spider-Man.
The dogging of the Steel City Spider finally took.
Yep. Yeah, in my household, everyone's like, he's got way too many muscles.
It's actually amazing to me that this cover's made it to the finals too, though. This is a little incredulous for me.
Yep.
I mean, it's not bad, but it's just, man, obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, because it could have been a cover I'd just never seen before. But I had seen this cover before, and it's not one I would have submitted. But here we are. Who knew? Yep.
And also the Amazing Spider-Man 528. That was another one of my covers.
Are you serious? Oh man.
Yeah. I feel like Johnny last week. Johnny was swept out. They're like, all right, you're done.
Did you okay, let me ask you this. Now, all right, and let me say this beforehand. Before it just was eliminated, would you still have submitted that after all the dogging we've given it all these weeks? Has it changed your opinion on it, or do you still like it so much you think it was worthy of the submission and we're all wrong in essence?
Yes, you're all wrong. I still love
it.
Okay, gotcha. I understand the complaints about it, and I see those, but I just like the pose. I like the angle. I like the color palette. Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah, and we're just being playful here. Anybody who's watching or listening that likes anything we dog, it's just random dogging for silly reasons. And essentially, I'm gonna say, I don't know if there's any that, even the Catwoman one that I've said, I think I actually said I hate them or whatever, but I can recognize that they're good covers. These are all good covers, even if I don't like them for whatever reason.
Yeah, a lot of it is us just jabbing each other.
Right.
Yeah. We all have similar likes and similar dislikes, and obviously we all respect each other's opinions on art.
Right.
I figured the Spider-Man was Mike's, because I think you were the one that brought up the black and gold, and I was like, it's Mike's, because he mentioned the black and gold.
Yeah, I guess I should have probably put that together too. Yeah.
I mean, not that we're all Steelers fans.
Yeah.
All right, and now the matchup everybody's been waiting for: Star Wars Clone Wars #1 versus Batman.
Hold on, drum roll. I've got this to say. I'm going to say this right now. I voted for Clone Wars this time. I know I know I just broke. That's taboo to say right now. But I'm telling you, I love this cover now.
Kevin, I have to admit, I came very close to voting for the Clone Wars cover, but I didn't.
Yep. Mike, well, since we're all confessing right now, what's yours? Which did you vote for?
I never voted for the Star Wars cover one single time this whole
until now.
Until I still didn't. I didn't. Yeah, well, I tried looking at it. I'm like, okay, what's everybody see? I'm like, I see a little more, but
I got swayed on that Clone Wars helmet comment that I think Karen made. I was like, hey, maybe there is something more to this.
Yeah, I think that was one that really swayed me a bit as well. And then I guess maybe I became a I peer pressure, got to me too. I'm like, man, enough people like this. Yeah, like you just said, maybe there's something to it. And then obviously Karen, all of it added up for me and now for the history of time, when I show this cover to people, I'm gonna be like, man, I really love this cover.
Yeah, it still looks like candy corn to me.
Mike from New York has a comment. I'm starting to wonder if we really have similar likes and dislikes. I don't understand how any of these made it so far.
Well, this will
even Mike, even in the for the first one with the All-Star and the Amazing, you didn't like any of those. You were wondering why those? Man, that's the only one I would say that comment surprises me a little bit. But these other four, I could see that comment. Yeah.
Well, get this: the winner of this matchup got 53% of the vote.
Oh,
so this was 47.
Yeah.
This was one vote.
I'm ready now. Wow, Mike doubles down. None of these. Got it.
You know what? He should submit cover. Oh, wait, he did. So, I liked a lot of Mike's covers.
Well, I guess Mike just let us all know that apparently none of the ones he submitted made it to the final. Well, I think you told us that last week anyway. But,
yeah. But I mean, Mike had some really good covers, and they lost to really tight matchups.
Yeah, I know. I can imagine a few of those, and they were great. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to go back and look and see this Star Wars, what covers it defeated.
Well, we're gonna have that conversation in the finals. Oh, right. We always talk about how the finals are so short because it's only just showing one winner. But then we also have a conversation and we do the whole showing what everyone submitted thing. So yeah, it's still going to be a good show too. So
yeah, because I'm tracking all the votes, the number of votes that each cover has received.
Oh yeah, that's a new tracking this season we hadn't done before as well. So yeah, that's going to be a fun show.
Obviously obviously the final three are going to, at the end, you hope they generated the highest number of votes.
Yeah. But maybe not. Somebody could have been like, oh, my cover's out. I'm checking out. I'm not even voting anymore.
So are you guys ready? Are you nervous?
I guess I am nervous.
Excited. All right. That was good. The studio on. Just go ahead and run it. And the winner, 63% of the vote.
Oh!
Is Batman. 675. What?
Well, this is obviously a great cover, though. I like this cover.
Yep. And that was close. One vote difference.
One vote difference.
So normally I would do it, but I went ahead and I made a screen here. There is our matchup.
So for the first time in Cover Combat, you have one champ to pick from 3 covers instead of 2. So
this is the second time we did this in round 2, or in Cover Combat 2. We did it the same way.
We did 3 covers in Cover Combat 2?
Yeah.
What were they? I'm not doubting you. I'm just trying to remember.
Star Wars number 1.
Uh-huh. No one remembers the loser. I didn't even remember we did 3. I was thinking this was the first time. Yeah, that's just my horrible memory. Sorry about that.
I looked at them just last night because they were still when I was making the the graphic that I'm going to put up on the Facebook page, I had to remove those 3 covers and add these 3 to that graphic. And Star Wars was the only one I can remember now.
Wasn't Catwoman one? Yeah, Catwoman was one.
Maybe I can't remember.
Who won? Captain America, right? Was it Captain America that won? I can't remember. Star Wars didn't win.
Star Wars won, didn't it? Star Wars number 1 won, I think, didn't it?
No, because that was mine.
Oh, wait, it was Mike's mission. Mike won it. No. Mike, what was your book?
I think it was Catwoman. I think Catwoman won. And Classic X-Men won the first cover combat.
That was definitely only 2. But yeah, it was Mike's cover. Mike won cover combat 2. And I think he must be the cover that we're forgetting right now then.
It was Catwoman.
Oh yeah, it definitely was Catwoman because Rose selected that as the champ, so she won the Captain America collection, right? Yeah. Oh, I'm glad I just reminded myself. I'm gonna be delivering that next weekend then for her as well. So
yep.
Catwoman, Hulk, and Star Wars.
Oh yeah, the Spidey Hulk.
Oh yeah.
That's right. Because I think that's the one I voted for.
Yeah.
Yep. Immortal Hulk 2 second printing or something like that, or 1 5th printing or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's the book that won, though, right? Rose won it because she picked the final cover, but
yeah, she picked Catwoman.
Hulk is what won the cover combat. Because Tyler submitted
Mike Pincek. We got 2 Mikes, obviously. Sorry, I didn't mean to out you.
That's right. New York Mike submitted the Catwoman, not me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and we know New York Mike had won cover combat 2, so the Catwoman won because Mike submitted the Immortal Hulk.
No, Tyler submitted the Immortal Hulk. Yeah. I was eliminated in round 2.
Oh,
round 3.
And didn't you submit the Star Wars?
Yes.
Patrick. Yeah.
So for the finale, it was Mike versus Tyler versus Patrick. Yeah, that's what it was. Okay, yeah, now it's all coming back.
So how are we going to do the voting? Are we going to just do the vote for your favorite, or we're going to do for our second place pick too?
No, you just vote for one.
Okay.
Everybody just votes for one cover. And then if there's a tie, the cover of these 3, if there's a tie between 2 of them or all 3, whichever covers have received
the most votes up to this point.
Votes, up to this point.
Yeah, I'm okay. The only bad thing about that is I never liked that most votes because of weak matchups, but it's fine.
Well, I mean, we could make a change. I mean, we keep tweaking it every cover. And Mike, just to ask you this personally, why don't you like if we tell you our opinion of these 3 like in order? Like my submission to you would be, okay, X-Men's number 1, Batman's number 2, Spider-Man's number 3. Why don't you like that versus me just saying, okay, I pick X-Men?
Well, I mean, I'm fine with that. It's not that I dislike it. It's
okay. I mean, that'd be cool. I think that'd be cool.
So everybody can submit their 1, 2, 3. Then that's fine.
Or just your 1, 2, because we know who's 3. Just do your first, your favorite, and then your runner up. That's your second place, and the third's
perfect.
Okay. And I'll just I'll award points for the number of times a cover is in the first place, second place.
Yeah.
Third.
Yeah. Unless that gets people confused that aren't paying attention,
That's true.
That's the drawback.
That's true. Yeah. What's that, Mike? You're in charge of cover combat. You lay down what do you want right now? Do it.
There's a saying that I always tell myself: keep it simple, stupid.
Okay. All right. Fine. So we're just staying with the 1 vote. Here's what we'll do, though. We'll have that conversation at the beginning of Cover Combat 4. So then during the entire Cover Combat, if we decide to change it, then it'll be the same throughout. So that'll definitely be a conversation. But we're sticking with vote for this and only on Facebook and only 1 book, says Mike.
Yep.
All right.
And I don't have my papers with me. I think Uncanny X-Men has been claimed. I don't recall if the other 2 have. I have to go look at my paper.
Wow, someone claimed this uncanny. Wow, that's amazing to me.
Yep. It's uncanny X-Men.
All right, but there's your final three. That I don't really see where. Yeah, Mike, that's what we just said, Mike. So Mike might vote for none because he doesn't think any of them deserve to be here. Yeah, I'm surprised you're saying that, Mike. I definitely think it's not that bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's Clone Wars didn't make it. I mean, come on.
Yeah, if Clone Wars made it, I'd have been shocked. And like I said, I'm a little surprised the X-Men made it, but the other two are fine. I mean, they're pretty worthy. They're pretty great covers. So anyway, so vote early, vote often. No, we're only voting once. So vote once. And we got 3 covers left, and we will be revealing the winner in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah.
Participate in that and share it with all your friends.
Yep. So during today's show, I'm going to go ahead and get those listed on the Xcellar page.
Right.
Let me go ahead and get rid of this and that, and now we're back to normal. We're back to normal on my side. Everything.
Back to normal. Man, I was just pulling for that Clone Wars just for the whole controversy of it all.
Yeah. Well, you almost let it win. I mean, you were.
So does that mean we're down to 2 participants?
Oh yeah, who are the submitters left?
Or is this an all
Yep.
Mike final?
No, it's not. It's a Kevin and Mike final.
Uh-oh. Really?
Yep.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that'll be good either. Yeah, I mean, that'll be good either way for me. I mean, as far as I'm looking at it, because then I win, I'm happy. And then if you win, that'll be the first time for you. You know, if the first 5 cover combats end up being the initial XcellarComics group members Pat wins next time, then Johnny wins the next time, that'll be great. That'd be fun. Yeah.
And hey, Tyler, here's a tip. Don't submit all Venom and Star Wars books. I'm just kidding. And Moon Knight.
Obviously, I love that boy so much, but I'm going to dog him here 1 second. I do feel like whenever it comes down to the wire to make your submissions for cover combat, like he does, like if we tell him, hey, dude, you got to have it by this Sunday, he'll submit them Sunday morning at 8 a.m., and that includes his investigation time. That's why I feel like he's submitting what he's submitting, because it's not.
And also, he's submitting what he knows. I get it. I mean, we've
exactly. And he's new to this.
For 20 plus years, and he's been around it, but actually invested in it is real recent. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. So,
and he's come close, but these last 2 rounds, he's been very close to the end. So,
that's true. He did make it to the finals.
I do think, and I think one thing we may have learned in this cover combat is to definitely mix it up, because you never know what's going to happen, So yeah, I thought about that this time too. I put 2 or 3 that were really similar, so that I kind of regretted just thinking, man, I should have dropped one of that, whatever, that kind of thing, So
yeah.
All right, let's get into some viewing pleasures. Does that sound good?
Sure.
All right. Okay, this was a fun week for multiple reasons, of course. And I'm going to start with some randomness that I'm going to speculate as to how it found me, or I found it, whichever way you want to look at it. But you remember this movie, Oxygen, this Netflix movie that I talked about a couple months ago, probably, where the lady's stuck in the hibernetic chamber or whatever, and she gets woken up, and right?
Yeah.
Which I said this wasn't bad, and it was interesting to me that they could make a good movie that took place in, it was very minimal options. So anyway, I watched, I'm bringing that up for a reason here, because I watched this show called The Ark. And this is a sci-fi original. And this is streaming on Peacock, which is where I actually watched it. And the reason I bring up Oxygen is because I feel like the lady that was stuck in that chamber in Oxygen was on this ship. The name of the ship is the Ark, and it's a spaceship that has 500, something like that, people in it that are all in, the cryogenic sleep mode or whatever in these, pods, and meteor comes and hits there. Well, actually, I've only watched the first 2 episodes of this. I'm assuming it's a meteor. That's what it looked like to me in the moment they showed us. But something hits it and kind of tears off a part of the ship and wrecks it all, and everything starts going haywire. So then a couple people start getting woke up, and then they basically wake up everyone because they have to get them out of this area that's going to explode, and they'll all die if they don't wake them all up. Okay. So like I said, and there's actually some images in Oxygen, the movie, that I'm obviously totally joking, but look just like the images from the Ark. So it was eerily similar in the way that I'm like, hey, she must be on the Ark. It was so funny. By myself. I
wouldn't be surprised if you can make that connection, if maybe the writer is the same or something like that.
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, because I think they are on the same mission. So these people they were in the cryogenic sleep because they have like a 5-year flight or something like that to another planet, because of course we've
destroyed the Earth.
We've ruined the Earth. So we have to find a new. Karen's telling us I talked about Oxygen in the February 5th episode. Wow, okay. Nice pull. Anyway, so that's the thrust of this show, and it's actually not too bad, except it's definitely got a made-for-TV look.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I said the ending of Oxygen was frustrating. Okay, Karen, thank you for pointing that out, Karen, because if in fact this would be like some kind of continuation, I shouldn't say in fact, obviously I'm just making jokes, but if you're pretend in my mind that the end of Oxygen is actually continued in Ark, then I like Oxygen too. The ending wasn't frustrating.
So this movie justifies the ending of Oxygen.
Oxygen, right? Yeah. So this is a TV show, though. This isn't a movie. So, and this is the first season. Like I said, this is a sci-fi original. So this is definitely looks made for TV-ish, but it's 2023 modern made for TV-ish, meaning it's still not bad. It's just you kind of can still get that feel from a made to TV-ish thing. And this is the target audience for this is definitely a younger crowd. Like, I think this is completely safe, family friendly for all ages. Mm-hmm. So, which, I don't mind those at all. I have come in my older years to appreciate them more than I ever have. And, this isn't bad. It's just, very formulaic. And like I said, kind of a retread story that we've done so many times. And basically it just focuses on getting to know, like I said, I've watched the first 2 episodes, just focuses on getting to know the characters in the first couple episodes. And they do have each episode. The first episode is focused on them being awoke in that nightmare to begin with. And then the second episode, there's actually someone that's killed. So they're kind of in a search for who murdered this guy. So, it's going to have its own little adventure each episode carrying on this story. But this isn't bad if you're looking for something that's pretty simple and family friendly. I give it a solid 6.5, 7. It's not a bad show at all,
Yeah. You know what I'd like to see? It seems like all these have the same formula. Somebody's being accidentally woken up early. I'd like to see somebody accidentally be put in the cryogenic chamber or whatever too early. The whole crew was accidentally left sleeping. And you just see this ship floating through space.
That would be a good, like, all these shows we've talked about that are like, short stories, that'd be a good one-shot short story for one of those shows.
Yeah, it would. Yeah. See, our whole audience right here would definitely.
They love that joke.
They want to see that movie.
So then I also watched, and this is actually the show that led me to the Ark, and it is called Dark.
Ark with a D.
It was totally a spelling connection there.
So this is everything. It's Ark with a D. Everything is connected. I mean, it's all telling you right there.
Yeah.
Ark is connected.
You're right. So, Dark is a Netflix original, and it's German. So you have the option to watch it subtitled or dubbed. I'm actually more of a subtitle guy in general, I think, but I actually chose to watch this dubbed. I think partially I originally chose to watch it dubbed because it was another one that I just put on in the background while I'm doing other stuff, so I couldn't really focus on it. But then actually it sucked me in, and I started focusing on it, and the dub isn't actually too distracting in this one. That's why I usually choose subtitles, because dubbing can be distracting, but this wasn't too distracting. It was actually pretty close, so. Mm-hmm. But this is another series. This is not a movie. And this show is a ride. And again, there's nobody in the Ark or Dark that are really recognizable that I would think to mention their name over anyone else. So I'm not mentioning really anybody. There's no recognizable stars in any of these, to me at least, of course. But basically, the Dark kind of reminds me, reminds me as I forget something. Remember that show that I told you that was super boring, that had that thing that had that factory in the middle of the town? And I told you it was super boring because we'd focus on like 10 minutes of these kids walking up to the factory. Remember that show? You said you watched a couple episodes of that, right, Mike? What was that called?
That was a weird series.
Yeah.
I don't recall the name of it. But yeah, it had the path going up with the kids.
Yeah.
Was there a robot in that or something?
Yes, exactly. There was a robot too. Yep. So this show is really similar to that, in my opinion. Wish I could remember the name of it. Somebody look that up. Because, but it's better. So this has a nuclear power plant. Like I said, it's German, so it takes place in Germany, and there's a nuclear power plant this is the central focus, and where everyone works in this town. It's the way this town survives kind of story. And this takes place in, when did Chernobyl happen? Early 80s, I think, right? So anyway, whenever Chernobyl happened, this is shortly thereafter. So people are really kind of fearful of nuclear power plants, especially in Germany, because Chernobyl just happened recently, like within the past few years. Okay. And this is a great show, in my opinion, because it definitely takes the time to help you get to know every character, and there's a lot of them in this show. Excuse me. And it's not boring along the way to me. Like this movie has this dark, eerie score, first of all, and kind of a dark, eerie production value to it, I guess you'd call it. I think this reminded me of Donnie Darko too, and its appearance, kind of how eerie it is and stuff, which was interesting with what was going on, enough to keep me compelled to watch it further, even though all it was doing for the first couple episodes is kind of getting you to know everybody in this town, it's kind of like, if you compare it to The Stand, how Stephen King had so many characters in that, it's hard to drag through because he got to introduce everybody. It's kind of like that, but interesting, And then this also reminded me. I actually brought up Andor. Me and Ayla had problems with the first couple episodes of Andor, but then Andor Part 3, Episode 3 paid off. This is the same thing with this too. So this has story arcs in it. And I actually wanted to binge this further than I actually did. I was enjoying it so much. I went like 8 episodes in, and after the 3rd or 4th episode, there's a big payoff. You're like, oh my God. And then you're totally hooked. And then now that's where I currently am. I'm into a completely new, but all of it, obviously, as this poster states, everything is connected. There's a totally new adventure, but connected to the old one that they just kind of 75% resolved at the end of episode. This was episode 3 or 4. But they give you a big payoff. Actually, when this big payoff happened, it almost felt like a show conclusion, to where then I looked into it after it continued. And this is 3 seasons, with the last season being, I think, 2021. So I didn't look up to see if this is over or not, but this is 3 seasons. So this is good stuff. If you don't mind dubbed, and you're into some eerie, dark sci-fi, this is definitely not for kids. This is definitely an adult movie show. And but this is great. I give this a solid 8, 8.5. Definitely check out Dark on Netflix.
Before you go to your next one, I just wanted to share this comic book series called Dark Arc, which has nothing to do with either of those movies, but it's really good. This is basically, look like it's up there. This is about a second arc that is trailing Noah's Ark. And
well, I think you've told me about that before. Yeah, that seems really interesting to me. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. Anyway, I'll stop hijacking your segment. Go ahead.
That's okay. And then for the last thing I watched before we get into our 2 big, what we all watched, Patrick, thank you very much. I finally got around to your recommendation, of course, to watch The Unbearable, Unbearable Burden of Massive Talent, right?
Unbearable Weight.
Oh, Unbearable Weight. Sorry.
Yeah.
So The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, starring Nicolas Cage as Nicolas Cage, and of course, Pedro Pascal, he's in everything. Which he's pretty great though. So I think for the most part, he's pretty deserving of all the work he's been getting. But I just wanted to bring this up because we've talked about it a couple times, and I just wanted to let you know I finally got it around to watching it. I will say I was a little disappointed, and this might be that reverse effect thing where you were talking it up, so I may have expected more than I got or whatever. But it wasn't bad, and there are a lot of, I should say, 3 specifically the 3 specific parts that I enjoyed a lot, which include the ending, which was fun. Which obviously endings are extremely important to me. So overall, definitely, I think this is a good movie. I think my biggest issue with this is it was very predictable. I mean, but it's obviously just a goofy romp, comedy, so it was definitely fun during the ride. But yeah, I'd say that's, if I was going to give this any negative feedback in general, it was predictable, right? Do you agree with that, Patrick?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. But yeah, there's 2 or 3 parts in this definitely had me rolling. One of them being that whole segment that was surrounding around that one TikTok video I said I had seen a lot of people splicing into other things, So, Mike, you haven't seen this yet, right?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, you should check it out. And this is on Stars. And actually, the only way you can watch it for free, and I guess it's not for free, is if you subscribe to Stars. Well, actually, I did watch for free. I got a 6-day trial with Stars, which I plan on canceling after 5 days. But you have to pay for this anywhere else, So I had to kind of track it down that way. But The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, I give that a solid 7.5. So
Very good.
All right, now let's get into The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 3.
I'm going to check out on this one.
Are you? Dadgummit.
Yeah, I didn't get around to watching it. I'm sorry.
Well, would you take my advice if I told you don't have to check out?
Yeah.
But I am going to spoil the episode, but I'm telling you don't have to check out.
Okay.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Pat?
Yeah, that was sort of like episode 1. You know, there was no real big spoilers, you know, that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. There's nothing we could say about this that's really going to change any effect of the episode itself. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, right?
All right, then I'll stick around.
All right, cool. Okay, good. Because I wanted you to kind of get my as you can see, what I gave the title, part of the title of the show today is Mandalorian Payback. Patrick, since you've seen the show, do you have a speculation as to why I call this Mandalorian Payback?
I'm not sure. Why did you call it Mandalorian Payback?
Because I think in this episode, Mandalorian got a taste of his own medicine from Boba Fett. You know, this episode isn't about the Mandalorian. Would you agree with that, Pat? I mean, I'd say 75% of this episode he wasn't even in it.
Yeah, but you're right. But there was the Mandalorian parts were, I would say, pretty important.
Yeah, they were significant. Yeah, obviously, this is kind of a little tongue in cheek for me.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Maybe a little bit of clickbait, but anyway, Dr. Pershing, which we saw. Did we see him twice before? We obviously saw him in the season 1 because he was the one that was kind of the doctor that really wanted Grogu, but he cared about Grogu as well. And then I think he was in a later episode too, maybe in season 2. But he hijacked this episode from the Mando. Mando's in this, the first 10 minutes and like the last 10 minutes, right, Pat?
Yeah.
And then the bulk of the show is focused on Dr. Pershing. Do you remember him, Mike?
The name doesn't sound familiar. I'm sure if I saw his face, I would.
Yeah, So this and I thought it was cool though. Pat, you don't care if I go first this week, do you?
No, it's your segment, Kevin. Go ahead.
I know, but I always like to, if we all watched it, let you guys go first. But anyway, so yeah, this one was focused on Dr. Pershing, and man, we got to see, correct me if I'm wrong on this too, Pat. Is this the first time we got to see Coruscant since episode 3? I believe that's true, isn't it?
Not counting animation.
Yeah.
Yeah, because maybe there was some little bit in the animation, but yeah, live action, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty exciting. I like that. And, you know, me and Jesse really liked, you know, how he sat down and, you know, you kind of want to do your studying of Coruscant and stuff like that. And he was listening to the documentary or whatever he was watching on his tablet about Coruscant. It started to give some facts about Coruscant. We were like, oh, that's cool. And then it ended. So we were like, oh man, go back, keep playing that, dude. We want to hear more of that. Yeah, it was kind of a fun moment. Me and Jesse were thinking that at the same time. Oh, we got to see Coruscant and Andor? Mike from New York is correcting me and saying we got to see it in Andor. Man, I don't remember that either. Was he where was he in Andor? Or where was Coruscant and Andor? Thank you for correcting me there, though, Mike. Obviously, I just forgot then if that's the case. But anyway, you got a lot of Dr. Pershing on Coruscant. And this is probably a reminder for you too, Mike, that, you know, he worked for the Empire. So the New Republic has a program that basically it's like people that were in the Empire rehabilitation kind of program. And I thought that was also very interesting too. Again, another every scene with Mon Mothma. Oh, okay. Maybe I just wasn't aware.
Yeah, I kind of took your question wrong, Kevin. I'm thinking more of like post Empire falling Coruscant. That's what's kind of new about this, I think.
Okay. All right. So moving on from that statement, I obviously was completely wrong then. So, but anyway, I thought it was cool because another question that got answered that I never asked, that I didn't even know I wanted to know, was, what happened to all the people that were in the Empire, post Empire? Did they all just round them up and slaughter them, or are they all in prisons, or what's their story? And I like this story, that they have this rehab for past Imperials. I thought that was pretty cool, right, Pat?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it goes to show more evidence that the New Republic's good. Obviously there's a lot of New Republic criticisms, mostly from bad guys, but nevertheless, sometimes it makes you scratch your head or chin about, is that accurate? You got to kind of question these philosophies or whatever, but I think that's more evidence towards how New Republic is good, the good guys. So I really enjoyed this episode. And you think what happened with the Mando in the first 10 minutes and the last 10 minutes is spoiler for Mike to where he should check out for that, or what? I mean, it's really not.
Yeah, it's all right. Whatever it'll be, I'll be fine. The way it is with this show, I'm gonna like it regardless.
Yeah. So basically, he, at the beginning, we get him going back to the tribe of Mandalorians to prove to them that he has indeed washed himself in the waters and he is now a Mandalorian again. That's basically what happens at the beginning. And what happened at the end? Where did they leave us?
That was the end. The beginning was more of them coming out of the mines.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah, you're right.
And you commented about the battle on the previous episode was really good. This episode I thought was awesome. I actually was getting chills, because I think partially because we're actually seeing TIE fighters and things like that. And
that was
really cool. Yeah.
The only frustrating part for me, and maybe you could make sense of this for me so it's not frustrating for me, Pat. Why didn't she want to tell everybody about the mythosaur? Is she questioning that she even saw it or not, or what?
Well, I think she's having a crisis of faith, and she's like thinking maybe I should reconsider my beliefs. Maybe all this isn't, bunk,
Yeah.
And she doesn't take her helmet off, and
so she kind of kept it to herself, so she doesn't let that everyone else know, to give them evidence that what they believe is actual facts, which then would in turn affect her even more because she wouldn't be able to argue them down or something like that, maybe.
Yeah. It always kind of drives me nuts in shows where if the people would just talk to each other, and let everybody know what's going on, a lot of problems could be solved,
Yeah, that's true. Exactly. But I thought that was pretty interesting too. They kind of talked for a second about our speculation from the previous show as to why the Mando fell into the waters, and what they said kind of gave both of us a little bit of an argument as to being right or whatever, because he's like, I had no idea it was so deep, which kind of goes with me saying he just kind of was unexpected and he kind of fell, right?
Yeah, but if you noticed, I watched, because I don't know if it's because I watched it again. I watched episode 2 again.
Okay.
And maybe just from the flashbacks, there was a long set of stairs to go down. You could see it in the background. So he took about 4 steps and he was down, but you could see that the stairs continued. It was, there was at least 2 dozen stairs to go down. So
so what you're saying is, since there was so many stairs, he obviously didn't just fall. Something would have had to pull him down.
Yeah.
So then we'll go in with Mike's argument that the living waters actually had a cause in it. That makes, that's good. Okay. All right. Mike says, she could be waiting to see how she can use that knowledge to her advantage. That's a good point, Mike. Yeah, that's kind of feeling out how this is all going to work out. I was thinking exactly what Pat said too, that she was doubting herself. That's the only part that kind of made sense. But yeah, thinking how she could use it strategically, that's true too.
Just because she sat there just looking out into the waters,
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing I was thinking about, and I hope we see. Man, this is prime foundation here for if she reveals the mythosaur exists and convinces all these people that the mythosaur exists still, which obviously they wouldn't have as hard a time of believing it as others. And I say people, but I mean Mandos specifically. And they go to her planet. That'd be great if they just move the whole tribe to and where she is basically the ruler, And then, like you said, she finds a way to get the Darksaber back. That would be an easy thing, right?
Yeah, and they, obviously left. You can see that Paz Vizsla, he's still untrusting. He has either ulterior motives up his sleeve, or he's just wary of Bo-Katan.
Yeah. Did you have anything else to say about that episode, Pat?
I thought the whole Dr. Pershing thing was interesting. I'm not sure, which way they're going with that. Are you to believe that Officer Kane, the female former Imperial officer, is she undercover, still working for somebody, or is she truly think she's doing something good for the new Rebel Alliance?
Yeah, I totally think she's still undercover.
Yeah,
I think she's up to no good. If they're playing it like she's actually good and she's just kind of an odd the way of doing it or showing it, I guess. I don't know.
But it was kind of weird too, because he wasn't getting anything specific related to his previous. That wasn't obviously the Star Destroyer that he was stationed on with Moff Gideon, I don't think.
Yeah,
or wherever he was. So I don't think he was getting anything specific to his research, and that was a part that kind of didn't really connect with me, because what was she really stopping? Why did she go to the lengths of getting him on and getting caught at the Star Destroyer?
Well, the whole as opposed to what, calling him out prior to she's a triple agent. You're asking, why did she take it so far? Like, why didn't she, once he said, okay, let's do it, and they left the zone they were limited to, why didn't she stop it there as opposed to letting the whole thing play out?
Yeah.
Maybe because she grabbed that thing right away. Maybe she wanted something out of there. Maybe that's
that was weird too, because I don't think they wouldn't let the new Alliance wouldn't let her walk away with that, being a former Imperial.
That's true.
Yeah. I would have thought they would, even if she was working and they knew ahead of time that she was going to turn Dr. Pershing in, they would have immediately taken that case from her as well. I don't know.
You'd think. Yeah. I don't know.
But it's interesting, because of the whole clone implications. They still, if you take into consideration 8, 7, 8, and 9, are they trying to get more clone information, or are they trying to make sure nobody else can do it?
I'm glad you brought that up, because I actually mentioned that to Jesse at the end of the episode, just speculating stuff as well. Which if this, all right, Mike's chiming in. He has knowledge that needs to be silenced about what Moff Gideon and the Empire are up to. Okay. So she's pretending to be a bad guy that's with the good guys now to catch bad guys, just so the good guys don't get the information that they'd want that the bad guys had. Essentially, that's what he just said, right, Pat?
Yeah.
So anyway, my speculation, and this was exciting for me just to think about this possibly being this to come to fruition, is the fact that we have a lot of clone dealings in especially episode 9. So if this kind of leads us there, that would be cool. Let me ask you this question, though, because I couldn't remember this myself either, if it was answered. Did they give us the impression in episode 9 that spoiler alert, if that the Emperor was a clone, like they had clones when he died in Return of the Jedi, or did they find some DNA and clone him later? Did they ever explain that in episode 9?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Okay, I don't remember either. So that's what I was thinking. I was thinking if they play it out to where they were able to just get DNA from a destroyed Death Star, because obviously that DNA would be wherever the Emperor landed when Darth Vader threw him over the edge, right? So if they play it that they got that DNA from the Emperor and cloned him later for him to appear in episode 9, that would be cool. That would be pretty cool. It wouldn't make episode 9 good, but it would definitely make how we got there better. Him specifically. I don't understand what that's referencing, Mike. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. That's what I took you meant to begin with, Mike. Yeah, definitely. Pat, what do you think? What do you think of that crazy speculation?
Yeah, cool? I can't remember. I did they make the mention that I'm sure they would have had, especially if they're talking about it, here. I don't know. You would think they would have had. Yeah.
So Mike is saying now that Snoke was a clone, and it's implied that is how the Emperor returned. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Well, yeah, obviously we knew the Emperor was a clone, but the question is, was he a clone right after Return of the Jedi? Was he already a clone when he died in Return of the Jedi, and that's who we see in episode 9, or was he cloned later? Is the question.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll hopefully it just continues to keep explaining. That's the other thing that my comment about this episode is that, man, I like them going off of these separate stories with Dr. Pershing. That gives me hope that just what they need to have? They just need to have a show called Star Wars. Okay. And every episode could be something different. We could be Mando one episode, Boba Fett another episode, Dr. Pershing story and clone story stuff on another episode. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to focus following one character, which I don't have a problem with. But I'm just saying, with what happened with Boba Fett, with Mandalorian being on it, and now Dr. Pershing having so much of an effect in Mandalorian episode, and obviously it's all connected, which that makes sense. But why not just have a show called Star Wars, and you could cover anything you want on any given episode. You could even do kind of traditional George Lucas Star Wars storytelling, where 3 things are kind of happening simultaneously at once, and they all kind of come together at the end. So.
I think wasn't that sort of the plan way before Disney took over? They had that Star Wars show that was being developed, and it just got canceled. And it was,
I think I do vaguely remember that. Yep. Yeah. I didn't know what the plan of it was, but I remember they had a Star Wars show. They were talking about a Star Wars live action show, but I didn't know any details. So yeah. Anyway, Mike, do you have anything to say about anything we just said?
No, I was lost.
Finally, you're gonna finish that show.
Yeah, actually no, but Emily started rewatching it, so I'm just gonna wait until she gets to that final episode. I'll just jump in and catch it, and I'll be done.
Gotcha.
But I posted the Cover Combat 3 final matchup while you were talking. So.
Okay, cool.
Multitask.
All right, from Unbearable with Pedro to Mando with Pedro, and finally we're at The Last of Us, no pun intended, with Pedro. All right, Mike, since me and Pat been talking the most, what say you about the final episode of, well, first of all, should I put up a spoiler alert here? I guess, but I think everybody that was watching this was, just greatly anticipating it, so everybody kind of watched it. Yeah, you just put it up anyway. I'm gonna put it up though. So if you're watching us, just silence us until the spoiler alert comes down. And then if you're listening, I'd give us at least 15. So here we go. Mike, what say you?
Well, after the conversation you guys just had, it was really in depth and all over the place. I don't have a whole lot to say about it. Once, I mean, also I watched it a week ago, which is my biggest complaint with when, we watched this and then we reviewed a week later, so I forget a lot.
That's what I was actually going to say about your comment about anybody wanting to see this and anticipating it. I didn't get to watch it until yesterday.
Oh.
And I wanted to watch it all week, but I didn't even get it watched until yesterday.
Wow.
Because I watched this with Lexi, so I had to kind of wait for her schedule to pan out.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's quite a. I mean, I thought I liked the way I liked the episode. I liked the way it ended. Yeah, I think as we talk about it, I'll remember stuff. I don't remember.
Okay, all right. Cool.
I remember the giraffes, and then I remember how ruthless Joel was at the end.
All right, but, sorry to put you on the spot there.
Yeah, that's right. But I was cheering for him at the end. I liked his actions.
Pat, what say you?
It's an episode that really comes down to a big moral quandary. Do you save one person or every person potentially?
Yeah, this was rough. This was a rough episode, and this might be my favorite episode.
Yeah. But yeah, I think with that's the quandary, and that's where I was putting myself in their position, and it's like, would I sacrifice? It's not. I mean, she's not Joel's kid, but he's in that role. He's playing. That's the new role that he has, is protecting her. I would hope that there's another way to find a cure, and I would not sacrifice my kids for that.
Well, definitely if you're a parent,
right,
it seems like an easy, answer to the question.
Mm-hmm. But does it make you a selfish person or not? This is a great episode because it makes you question everything. But then it comes right down to just the basic role of a parent is to protect your kids at all costs. And I'd be like, no, I'm not going to do it. I know in myself I wouldn't be able to do it, so I'll just freely admit it. Sorry to everybody.
So first of all, I want to talk to anybody. Well, I guess I might be talking to people that haven't seen this episode, and they're like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Oh yeah, that's true.
So let's talk about that first. So they finally reach their destination, the hospital that Joel's been trying to get Ellie to during the entire series, to help use her up to this point inexplicable immunity to the infections, the fungus and stuff, and they get there, but what happens immediately? They are attacked and kidnapped, whatever, for lack of a better way to describe it. He wakes up in a hospital. Ellie's not with him. We then learn that Ellie is getting ready to undergo an operation that he is told will basically be so invasive. Did you take it that it would kill her, or it would just basically make her a vegetable, or which way did you take that? Because they said that what they were going to do, and obviously we could make our own assumptions, which death being one of them. But did you guys both take it as it would kill her? It would just kill her and she'd be done with?
Yeah.
Because lobotomies are done and they don't kill people, so but
yeah, but I don't think it was a lobotomy type of thing. I think it was very invasive.
Yeah.
They're going into the brain and stuff. So I figured she wasn't going to make it.
Yeah, so they tell us that they're going to take all of that out of her brain, mm-hmm. and then make it. What do they do? What's the word I'm looking for? Where they, are able to make a lot of vaccines with it.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's also assuming that worked.
Right. Yeah. Obviously, that adds into the question as well. Yeah. This is, okay. So anyway, let me finish this real quick, and then of course Joel goes on a rampage because all he cares about is Ellie. He doesn't care about saving the human race at this point, at least in this way, of course. And he just starts killing everybody. Mm-hmm. to save Ellie, and eventually he does, and then Ellie questions him because she wakes up. She was under anesthetic.
Yeah, they were getting ready to.
They were getting ready to cut her open.
Yeah.
So then when she wakes up, she's in the back of their car driving down the road again. She asks what happens. He lies to her and says that they were attacked by raiders and no one made it except them two, essentially. And you could tell she's questioning whether that's the truth or not right away. Then to end the episode, she point blank asks him to swear to her that that's the truth, and he swears that that's the truth.
Yeah.
Fade to black. End of series or end of season, So
yeah.
All right, yeah. Here's what I have to say. I think Patrick mentioned something that's very important to this, that I feel like what you commented on was being glossed over, Mike, is this is not her kid. This is not his kid. Okay.
Right.
This, like you said, it's a no-brainer if it's your kid, which I 100% agree. But this is not his kid. This is a girl that he's obviously gotten to be so fond of that it's like his own daughter. Mm-hmm. And obviously the attachment with him losing his own daughter and then essentially replacing, for lack of a better way to describe it, Ellie, you replacing her with Ellie, and in his mind and his, way he lives now or whatever. But yeah, this isn't his kid. And here's the other factors too. Okay. He's killing a bunch of good guys. Okay. So whether the scientist is a mad scientist and this is experimental and might not work and it's going to kill Ellie, whatever, all that aside, all the Fireflies are literally just trying to save the human race. Mm-hmm. Right?
Right.
So the good guys, right?
Yeah, you would think that.
No. I don't think that. I'm asking that. I'm asking you. They're good guys.
They're supposed to believe they're good guys, yeah.
No, I like how you're saying that, so I can corner you like this. Yeah. If you're saying we're supposed to believe this is for you too, Pat, of course, whatever you have to say about this. If you're saying we're supposed to believe they're good guys, what evidence or any speculation do you have at all that these are bad guys?
Because they're forcing a girl to sacrifice herself for maybe something she doesn't believe in. She's not getting the full choice to sacrifice herself. So basically they're saying, okay, her life is worth saving everybody, in our opinion, in this way that's not 100% guaranteed. And I think that's where
the doctor's saying he can do it. So that's the way I took it. You're right. That could be a question. If the doctors got doubt and then they have doubt, but I feel like they're the unquestionable good guys, in my opinion, because the doctor has told them this is what he can do, and they're trying to meet that objective, right?
Right.
Which would make the doctor questionably good or bad, because whether he's a mad scientist or a genius, who knows? But the Fireflies, I think it's almost inarguable that they're good guys.
Well, I think I think their viewpoint is, but I think the where they cross the line is, and that's the thing. It's like, okay, it calls into question what
what's more important, one human being or the human race?
One, I mean, because obviously killing anyone is bad. Is killing one person worth possibly saving everybody here? And that's, if somebody wants to sacrifice themselves or whatever and pay that ultimate price, that's their choice. And I think that's where Joel's coming in. It's like Ellie didn't choose to do this. Everybody's choosing it for her.
Which brings me to my final point.
And which is?
Joel's the bad guy because he not only murdered a bunch of people that were arguably good, okay, but he also doubled down and lied to Ellie. If he would have told the truth, I'd have been pro Joel. because every point you just made is fair.
Right.
But then he lied to Ellie about it too. And that is totally selfish.
And
worried.
I agree with that.
Yeah, he's worried that if he tells Ellie the truth, that then he loses her. That's what I'm saying. So
yeah.
All these actions haven't been about all the point. And this is my opinion, of course. I'm getting a little passionate here.
Yeah.
All these actions here. All these actions are.
Watch the microphone.
Yes, all these actions here are, you have good arguable points, Mike, but when it comes down to it, since he lied to Ellie, in my opinion, it was all for selfishness.
Yeah, it's a selfish decision.
Yeah, it's all to make himself feel good.
And earlier when we started, I said it was a selfish. Well, my viewpoint was very selfish, and I think it kind of what you were saying there made me just realize, maybe he lied to her because he was afraid that if it was her choice, she would have chosen to sacrifice herself, and he didn't want her to do that. So yeah.
And it sounds like if she would have chosen, she would have chosen to sacrifice herself, right?
Yeah, I guess looking back on the way she the way she went about things, she probably would have.
Do you agree with that, Pat? Do you think if Ellie would have had a choice, she would have let it happen?
That's the way I'm leaning now. Yeah.
Yeah, man, we kind of glossed over. There's a whole extra sequence at the beginning of this episode that was pretty crazy. It reminds me of what was that movie? The Hills Have Eyes. Do you remember that? Or no, it was The Hills Have Eyes, where the remake of The Hills Have Eyes, where the first 10 minutes was a brutal baby being born scene. Do you remember that, guys?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's holy cow. Yeah, I completely forgot about the beginning where we actually are introduced to Ellie's mother, and we see her being born and stuff. And here's
the very beginning, and it's Ellie. Ellie's mother is the lady that voices Ellie in the video game, so that was cool too.
Yeah.
Yep. And man, you know what else I thought was crazy? Didn't she look just like her? I mean, as what you'd imagine Ellie would grow into as a woman, didn't she?
Yeah, the actress looks I can't remember their names. I'm terrible with their names. Yeah, the actress playing Ellie's mother actually looks like she could actually be the actress that's playing Ellie's mother in real life. Yeah.
Which I thought was crazy again when I watched the little docu short behind the scenes, whatever, after the episode. I was totally thinking, man, they casted a perfect lookalike for her. So then at the end of the episode, when they said she was the lady that voiced the Ellie in the video game, I was thinking, wow, that's just a crazy coincidence then, unless they cast Ellie based on, like knowing they were going to do this in the future or something like that, but yeah, I couldn't believe how much they look. Me and Lexi were actually questioning for a second whether it was like CGI, like they did some CGI to her face to make her look like Ellie. You know what I'm saying? It was so, in my opinion, spot on, so.
Yeah, so on camera.
But that was a crazy, so yeah, we got introduced to Ellie's mom and the titular character or whatever in the end, the leader of the Fireflies that ended up being Ellie's mother's best friend, that was the one that actually killed Ellie's mother because during child, I guess we learned how Ellie's got this immunity too, right? She's killed or she's born during an infected attack that bites her mother. And this is just my total speculation here that we're supposed to speculate that a little bit got through, to her right before she cut the umbilical cord. A little bit of the infection got through because there's a big thing where the mother's like telling the leader of the Fireflies, whatever her name is, oh, I cut it before I think she actually said I cut it before I was bit or something.
Before I was bit, yeah.
True. She obviously was bit and then she cut it, but but I guess that's how she became immune because she got, I guess, such a minimal dose and right at birth. So she was able to, her white blood cells or whatever were able to stop it from changing her, but were still existent or whatever the case may be medically. I've only taken a couple semesters of medical.
Right. But that's where, obviously Ellie's blood didn't cure the little boy a few episodes earlier. So, but this doctor, and that's why I question how sure this doctor was that getting into her brain would create a cure. And how does he know? It's not like he ran across 3 or 4 other, like kind of Joel told her.
Yeah, he is experimenting with human life. Yeah.
So that just wasn't 100% sold on it actually being a cure and worth testing on her.
Yeah, I totally agree with all that. Like I said, the end factor for me, well, it's like Pat said earlier. I mean, there's so many things that could be solved if characters would just talk to each other.
Yeah.
Because if rather than Joel losing his mind right away, maybe it was a suggestion, hey, are you sure? Can we hold off?
Yeah, what's the rush? What's the hurry?
Yeah, Ellie is a human being. Can we ask her what she wants to do? Like all of these questions we're speculating on should have been a conversation, and then if no one can come to an agreement, then break out the guns to solve the argument, to see what's going to happen. But
and also I'm going to justify Joel's actions a little bit more with this.
Okay.
The previous episode when he referred to her as baby girl, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Which is how he referred to his daughter. At that point, I think he started seeing her, obviously we all agreed, seeing her more in that role. So in this last episode, I think he was saving his daughter the way he wasn't able to in the first episode. So
yeah.
I think Joel had no rational thought on saving the rest of the world. It was all about, he was hyper focused on saving her.
Definitely. Yeah.
I was cheering Joel on, right or wrong, and everybody's.
I was questioning it the entire way. I'm like, oh, I'm like this. I'm like, oh my God, what's happening right now? I'm questioning everything we just talked about the entire time it was happening. And they did it in slow-mo for us so to make it even go even longer.
Yeah.
And then at the end, especially when she came out, the Firefly leader came out, and then, oh man, it was.
Yeah.
And then the very end, of course, whenever she asked, like, I feel like, I mean, obviously it would have been a super cliffhanger and hard on the viewing audience, but man, imagine Ellie asks him, do you swear? And we don't see his answer.
Yeah.
It just cuts right there. Because when she asked him to swear and he swore, that was when I was like, oh, man, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed, brother.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm gonna put up the regular now. I just realized what time it was. So spoiler alert is down.
Yeah, I gotta.
So yeah, I know you got to go. So no more spoilers. But like I said already, I think it's probably my favorite episode for the emotional and action reasons. Love this episode. I'm actually looking forward to see how they deal with season 2 now. Pat, what say you?
Yeah, I'm still on board. Yeah, I enjoyed it as a whole, and I guess we'll wait to see how long it takes to get to season 2. I don't know when that's set to premiere.
Yeah, I've heard it's actually a fact that it's going to happen, though, at this point, though, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Mike, what's your final verdict then without the spoiler alert up?
Yeah, I liked it. I liked how it ended. I'm looking forward to season 2. There's going to be a lot of changes from what I understand, because it's following the second game, which people weren't fans of. I think fans of the game were disappointed in the second one, so they may kind of change a lot more in the second season than they did in this one to try to appease those, address those complaints maybe.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, cool. So everybody check it out. It's a roller coaster, that's for sure, especially in my opinion. So,
yeah.
All right, let's get into what we read real quick. So Mike can do a review in 7 minutes before you got to go, Mike. Does that sound good?
Yeah, it's a quick one.
All right, cool. Here we go. Actually, I just realized as I'm doing that, Mike, do you want to do your pick? Because you only have time for one. You want to do pick 3 or your review?
I'll do the review. You guys can do the pick 3. It's just they're in order from 3, 2, 1 underneath the pick 3 picture there.
All right, cool. We'll do our best. Okay, what do you got for review?
Okay, let me find it here. I read Blue Book. This is the final order cutoff variant with no trade dress because I couldn't find my trade dress one. It's around the house somewhere here.
What's it called?
Blue Book.
Huh, Blue Book.
Yeah, it's by James Tinian IV. And Michael Avon Oming is the artist. This cover was done by Jill Thompson. I'm a real big fan of hers. So I love this cover.
Is this number 1?
This is number 1. I think there's going to be 8 issues. And this is nonfiction. Well, I guess nonfiction. These are based on supposed actual events. This one starts. It starts in 1961, and it is concerning Betty and Barney Hill and their abduction by aliens. He's a post office employee.
Are these Benny Hill's parents?
No,
Okay.
these are Americans. And yeah, they're not Benny Hill's parents. Betty, Barney, I get it.
Thank you.
So she was
That
a
was
social
funny,
worker.
studio audience. That was hilarious, by the way.
I was just gonna say Karen needs a raise. There it is. All right. She's a social worker in child welfare. He's a post office employee, and they also had a lot. They worked for the NAACP. This starts with them being on their way home to New Hampshire from vacation in Montreal, and on the way, they're driving in the middle of the night. On the way, they see something on the horizon, and Betty keeps looking at it with binoculars and stuff, saying that it's it's not a satellite, it's not a plane, it's something else. They pull over, and it seems to start following them. So then they take off again, and there's not a whole lot. That's pretty much all we get in this first issue. There's a backup story that was written by James Tinian, and it was actually drawn. The artwork is by Klaus Janson. I didn't get to read that one, but it's also another based on actual events, like kind of weird events. But ongoing from 1 through 8 we're gonna be following Betty and Barney Hill's story. Now I've never heard of these people or this event, but I guess it's one of the most famous UFO sighting abduction stories. In 1966, there was a book. Oh, I've got pictures. So this is some of the interior artwork here. It's all blue, black, and white. I think it's fantastic. I love books like this. I love the art style, the stark lines.
When did this come out?
Oh, number 1 came out February 22nd.
Okay.
And this was Tinian first published this on his Substack site. You had to subscribe to that, and he individually replaced these. This is a picture of Betty and Barney.
Huh.
And there's another one with their dog. Their dog is actually in the issue.
Huh.
So there's a book written called The Interrupted Journey, 1966. And then, I was surprised, there's actually a TV show about it called The UFO Incident.
What?
And James Earl Jones is in it.
Wow.
This is from 1975. And I was even surprised to see this. There's a landmark where it took place. So
that is pretty cool.
Yeah. So I did a little reading. This first issue, you don't get much. You just get that first the initial encounter, the first few minutes of it. But from what I gathered, they lost 2 hours of time and said that they were abducted. I imagine the issues 2 through 8 are going to address that more. So I would right now I have no opinion on whether this is a get it or forget it.
Okay.
Because we don't get a whole lot in that first issue. It's James Tynion, and he's a really good writer, so that kind of leads me to have faith that it'll pan out and be good. But also, this is nonfiction, so where he has certain rules he has to follow in telling the story. He can't get too crazy. So, no opinion right now. I'll let you know more on issue 2.
Okay. Well, can we expect that next show, or no? When's it coming out?
It comes out. I think I usually write this stuff down. You're with all the questions I don't have answers for. I think it might be coming out next week, but I won't be getting it for a few more weeks.
Okay. Oh, because you get it with DCBS.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it'll be a bit.
All right. Looking forward to that. Yeah, I want to hear more about that. That's crazy. I'm gonna look into that a little bit. That's Blue Book, right?
Blue Book.
Number 1.
Yeah.
Got it.
I'm definitely going to go look for that James Earl Jones
Movie.
TV show.
Or TV show. Yeah.
Yeah. Or yeah.
Yeah,
I think it was a made for TV movie.
Oh yeah, remember when they used to do that, make a made for TV movie, and it would be like a couple movies or whatever. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so I guess you got to get out of here.
I got to roll. I will be listening to the rest of the show, and thank you. Love this audience.
And that was a good review to end up before you got to go. And thank you again for so much you did with Cover Combat 3. And we will do our best regarding the pick 3. That'll still happen. So
yeah, I'm sure you do well.
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right. Yep. Thanks. See everyone later.
All right.
See ya.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Valor. You guys, he was there the whole time.
He wasn't here the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He didn't watch the newest Mandalorian, so he wasn't gonna stick around for that.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, did he want to have input on? What do you want to have input on? That's why he's
gonna do the get it or forget it this week for me.
Oh, okay. So that was gonna be my next question. Do we want to finish get it or forget it because Mike already started? Do you want to go to pick 3 now and come back to this?
Yeah, let's finish up get it or forget it, I think.
All right, cool. Okay, what do you guys got?
Oh, we're gonna go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let's swap seats.
Okay, 1 second.
All right. Maybe I shouldn't have put it up so quick. You did say 1 second. I should have thought about that. So
You're fine.
We're looking forward to a review by special guest host Valor, Patrick's son.
So this week I read Sweet Tooth.
Okay. Nice.
Oh, Dad, you added 2 and 3.
We'll just go with it. Do the other one.
Okay.
I thought that was number 1. I must have grabbed the wrong one.
So I read Sweet Tooth by Jeff Lemire.
When did this come out?
This came out 2009 to, I would say, about 2012, because first 12 issues ran from 2009 to 2010, and 13 to 25 ran 2010 to 2011. So,
and was there anything in particular that brought this to your attention since it's been a while, or what?
I was reading Essex County a few weeks ago, and
okay.
I just wanted to continue reading Jeff Lemire. I like his artwork, and
gotcha.
So the story is about Gus, who is a deer/human hybrid. So he lives with his dad in the woods, and he tells him not to go outside because there's bad things out there. There's bad people. And so his dad dies from what the story calls the sick. And it's basically, it says it happened 8 years before the story takes place. And it's like this huge plague that all of these babies that were being born were animal children. And so he meets Jeopard, who's a hockey player, and they go to the preserve, which is not actually a great place because Gus later gets captured, and he gets captured and studied, and so Jeopard breaks him out, and so Gus, when he was there, met other hybrids, and
who's the character on the cover of this book that we're looking at?
That is Jeopard, and then in the
Okay.
background that is Gus and two of the other hybrids.
Okay.
So they go on this huge adventure, and they have this guy that they have to watch out for. He's trying to cure the sick, basically, but he wants to like experiment on them and like find out what's making the sick. So that's the story about Sweet Tooth.
Okay.
And then there's a show on Netflix. It came out in 2021, and they're running a next season, April 27th. And
Really? Okay, that's good information to know too. Did you watch the show in its completion already?
Yes, we have.
And how does this book track with the show?
The show definitely isn't as the show has a lighter tone to it than the comics.
Okay.
And one of the minor differences is, like I said, in the comics, Jeopard used to be a hockey player, but in the show, he used to be a famous football player.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah,
So just little changes like that as well. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the second deluxe edition, but so this is the third one. That's the cover for it. But so the first one came out, I think it said 2016 was when the collection came out.
Okay.
But like the single issues were 2009 to 2010.
Gotcha. Okay.
Jeff Lemire did the story and artwork, and Jose Villarrubia, if I'm saying that right, he did an introduction for the second deluxe edition, and then he did all of the art for the coloring for the all of the issues. Other than in the third one, there is like a short like side story to it. I don't think he colored that one.
Okay.
Yep, I'd say get
it. Would you say it's close to a must-have? Is it that good, or just to get it?
I would say it's close to a must-have. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The TV show seemed very interesting to me. I liked it a lot. And what's the Sweet Tooth reference? Why is it called Sweet Tooth?
So Jeopard gave him the name Sweet Tooth because when he first found him, he got lured by hunters with chocolate.
Ah.
And then,
so Gus has a sweet tooth.
Yeah.
So he gave him the nickname Sweet Tooth. Got it. Gotcha. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, that art is cool too. I definitely agree with that as well. I mean, I'm not as big a fan of. I'm not as big a fan of Jeff Lemire's Mike or anything. Patrick, where are you on Jeff Lemire too? You a big Jeff Lemire fan too?
Yeah, I think we're both. Me and Mike are both big fans of his.
Yeah.
His artwork is an acquired taste. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I like his artwork because it does it. I feel like it does better because the stories are meant to be like sad. So like. Especially in Essex County, they had like the black and white artwork. There wasn't any color to it. I think that made it even better there.
So the art kind of fits the story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Gotcha. Well, awesome. So you're going to continue reading Sweet Tooth and give us later reports later as well?
Yep.
He's got one more deluxe volume to read.
And then
he's already about halfway through it, I think.
And then isn't there a second?
Yeah, there was a recent Black Label series from DC, Sweet Tooth: The Return, that takes place, I think, 20 years after the original series. Even I have that, but I still haven't gotten around to reading that myself. But yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know that existed either. Okay. Well, it's funny that you read a trade because that's what I did too. So I've got it right here in front of me. So I'll just show this to start. Monstrous, Volume 1, and I got Volume 2 as well because for a couple reasons. One, Mike has been getting Monstrous from the beginning, and then I actually found a copy of Monstrous #1 in a dollar bin, which is here. And then so a combination of Mike, how much he loved it. And this art is ridiculous. Was this in Cover Combat 3, this cover, or was this in Cover Combat 2?
I think this was in
2.
Right? 2, yeah.
So, okay. So all these combinations with the ridiculous art it is, because I actually submitted Monstrous, I think #5, the cover for #5 for Cover Combat 2. Someone else submitted Monstrous #1 for Cover Combat 2. So the art is ridiculous in my opinion. And again, with Mike buying it every week for so long and me witnessing it, and then finding #1, I was like, man, I got to start grabbing this, which I did. And then, of course, I live with the regret of not getting it earlier. So then, of course, when I saw it in DCBS that they had the trades, I think I ordered the first 4. I think there's actually maybe 6 out or something. But because I didn't get them all. I think I got 1 and 2, which I just got Volume 1, Volume 2 of the trades, which I just got in my last DCBS shipment. I've got 3 and 4 coming in the next one. So then I started reading Volume 1, and a couple things before I get into the story of it. So this is the writer's Marjorie Liu, or is that how you say her name, Pat? You know?
I'm not 100% on that, Kevin. Liu or Liu.
Yeah. And then the art is Sana Takeda. Yeah. Okay. And I love, aside again, without getting into this story real quick, I love the way this trade is. And I don't know whether, this might be the first trade I've read in a long time. And I think I've asked you this question before recently, Pat, about are the covers from all the single issues in the trade? And I guess from your answer that you gave me the last time I asked you that, does that change? Sometimes some do and some don't?
Yeah, I think it depends on the publisher. You'd like it. It's certainly nice if they include all the covers and all the variants and everything.
That's the way it is in Sweet Tooth, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. And that's the way Monstrous is as well. So obviously I love that. It actually might make me, if I, since there's so many that I haven't gotten, and I'm just going to get the trades of anyway, I might just continue just getting trades and might unsubscribe getting it monthly because they do it. Well, watch, as soon as I unsubscribe getting it monthly, they'll stop having the covers
right
in the trade. So I'll just continue on. So anyway, so basically I read this Volume 1 has issues 1 through 6 in it. So I read issue 1 and issue 2. This is the cover for issue 2. And another thing that I've mentioned in the past that's kind of a pet peeve for me about covers is I want them to really have something to do with the book. And I looked ahead, of course, as well. And every cover seems to match the story that's going on in the book. So I love that even more. So everything that I keep investing myself in with Monstrous keeps making me want to go further because it's kind of doing everything the way I like it. So, okay. So, in Monstrous, we follow this girl on the cover there. Her name is Maika. All right. Mike is chiming in. The easy thing about Monstrous is only one cover per issue. Only had a couple variants. All right, that's good. Okay, yeah, that's good to know too. Okay. So anyway, in the story, we follow the character that's on the cover of issue 1 at least, and her name is Maika, and we are dropped smack dab into this world, and more specifically, the specific place in this world is called Zamora, and she is essentially a slave, or she's been kidnapped, kind of 6 of one, half dozen of another, same thing. And we're in a world where there are beings called Arcanics, Arcanics, however you want to pronounce it. And they are monsters, essentially. It's really kind of funny that you reviewed Sweet Tooth, totally coincidental here. The Arcanics are just like the characters in Sweet Tooth that everybody hates. They've all got something about them that's monstrous, and or they become monsters, one or the other. Because like a couple friends she has in this, one is like a squirrel girl. She's like part squirrel, and another kid's like part goat. I mean, it's like, so again, from where I am so far, trying to understand these Arcanics, they are either part something else being monstrous, or they become monstrous, and that kind of falls in line with more of what Maika is, because she looks pretty quote unquote normal, except she is missing her left arm. So you can kind of see in that picture, it's actually a mechanical arm. And the battling forces in this world are the humans and the Arcanics, of course. Again, just like Sweet Tooth, the humans really hate the Arcanics, and they judge them, and they're prejudiced against them, all this stuff. And they're scared of them too, because as you can imagine, with different variations of the Arcanics, you know, some of them are very docile and aren't dangerous to anybody, but then others are very dangerous. And Maika is actually one of the very dangerous ones. We're just starting to learn that as we get into issue 2. But in issue 1, we're just basically introduced into her, to her being sold off to some humans that actually then, you know, again, with this prejudice of the Arcanics, humans, some of them want to kill them, some of them want to collect them, quote unquote, you know, and use them for bad things, of course. And the humans, as far as dealing with the Arcanics, also ally up with these other beings called Cumaeans, Cumaens, and they are essentially human, but they have powers. So they're like wizards and witches, you know, kind of thing. And they kind of are with the humans to abuse, you know, exterminate Arcanics, depending on which character we're talking about. And like I said, story jumps in. We're getting to know Maika. She's been enslaved. She gets taken to Zamora, where, like I said, this story takes place. And she's kind of going through the gambit of these horrible people that have enslaved her and are selling her off. But then we actually see her become monstrous for a minute to escape. But then whenever she does that, some Cumaeans show up, and it sets us off on this whole new ride of how she's it doesn't say this exactly in the comic, but she seems like kind of a chosen one kind of character. Like, she's got special abilities and what she can do. And the humans are just looking at her like an Arcanic, Arcanic. And, you know, in their miscellaneous ways, they think about Arcanics. That's what they think of Maika. But the Cumaeans know who she is, the power she holds, and what she can be, and stuff like that. So they're actually kind of pretending like they're helping the humans. They have their own agenda as well regarding Maika. And the way this story is told too is the story is told kind of going along in present time, but then like every maybe 4 or 5 pages, it'll flash back to a couple pages of before the events of Monstrous #1 actually happen. Which that kind of thing is a little bit confusing, especially when you're first starting off in a story. I'd like the first couple issues to just be straight storytelling so I can adapt to, obviously Arcanans, Cumans, character names with Maika and all this stuff, adapt to that before then we go in the back and make it even more confusing. But this wasn't too bad, even with that, which I don't really care for. I was still able to track, just kind of going back and forth a couple times. You kind of do that with comics anyway, to kind of remember something that you may have missed or whatever. So doing that, it was still good. And then when we get into issue 2, we meet another faction of humans called the Edenites, which Edenites are humans that look at Arcanics just as another one of God's creatures, and you shouldn't hate them, and you should protect them, and basically look at them as the same as you do any other human, and so some Edenites, actually one particular Edenite starts to help the Arcanics. So that's kind of where I am with this. This is actually on the cover here. I don't have a note of what her name is. I don't even know if they told us. But this is one of the one of the people that are with the humans, the Cumans or whatever. She's like a super powerful witch, I guess. So essentially, where we go after issue 1 and 2, and incidentally, whenever Maika becomes monstrous and kills all the humans that are in sight and helps the Arcanics escape. The other ones that were there with her at the same time when they were being sold or whatever, especially the Squirrel Girl comes with her. So kind of where we are after episode 2 or issue 2. Technically, they call it chapter 2 because I'm obviously reading a trade. The Cumans are after the Icanics that have joined the Edenites, and they're pretending that they're working for the humans, but they're actually have their own agenda. That's where we kind of are on this. So this is a fun ride for me. And like I said, the art's amazing. And I actually don't mind the way it's told. So I'm just going to call this a straight up must-have. This is everything. And I'm calling the trade specifically. Volume 1, trade paperback here, collecting issues 1 through 6. It's a must-have to me, and I'm excited to, go read it more. Especially if we aren't going to have a show for a couple weeks, I'll probably at least finish volume 1, probably get into volume 2 as well, and have more of an in-depth explanation of the story. But this is great. I'm definitely going to give this a must-have, art and story-wise. So.
Yeah, it's always it's been I never picked it up, but it's always been one of those books where it looks interesting. The artwork looks really nice. When we were switching over here, did you say what issue this is currently on? Approximately? Do you know?
Oh, I didn't.
I think actually one of the covers is in pick 3, so we might get an answer there.
If I'm going to speculate, I think it's in maybe the 20s.
Okay.
That seem crazy?
No, it's been around.
Hey, Mike, are you still around? What issue? He'd know more than me because I started getting it. But anyway, yeah, that's what I was thinking about too. I'm hoping, because I actually, I didn't do my due diligence in reading everything that's in all the trades. I'm hoping wherever I picked up is where I stop at trade 4. That's why I didn't get any further than the 4th trade, because I'm hoping where I picked up and trade 4 ends is about where I need to be. So,
Yeah. Okay. I got you. Yep.
Yeah. Cause and if there's 6 issues in each one, that'll be 24.
Yep.
And if I'm thinking that I'll continue there, at least hopefully be close. And I just recently started. Yeah. Probably in the late 20s. I could be completely wrong though. Watch it be in the 80s. I don't know. But hopefully I'm at least somewhere close to it, but definitely check it out. Thank you, Karen. Yeah, that was a great job, Valor. Really appreciate it. Did Dad actually read something too? But you just wanted to chime in, or how'd that work?
That was a perfect scenario because I just didn't get around to reading anything, and he had been reading it. So I said, "Hey, there you go."
That is perfect. Okay, awesome. All right, let's see how we can do. Obviously, I'm going to lean on you a lot here, Pat, with pick 3. Are we ready to try this? See how we can do it by ourselves?
Yep.
All right, cool. Here we go. All right, Pat, so we don't both try to do it at the same time. Are you going to put up picks?
I can do that. Yep.
Okay.
There I get my answer right away. Monstrous 44 is in the pick 3 this week.
Ah, okay. So I wasn't. That's almost an acceptable close guess, but yeah, a little bit. Only a year and a half off.
All right, where's Mike at here? There you go. This week's pick 3. There you go.
All right, cool. Do you have, or can you see with your screen big what exact issue those are? Or do we just want to talk about the titles?
Yeah, I got the list. I can read them. These are all books coming out 3/22/23 this week on Wednesday. We have Amazing Spider-Man 22, John Romita Jr., Batman One Bad Day, the Ra's al Ghul cover by Ivan Rice, Wonder Woman 797 by Joelle Jones, Doctor Strange by the legendary Alex Ross, Spider-Man Lost by Ryan Brown, Avengers Rage of Ultron by Nick Bradshaw, Deceased War of God 7 by Ben Oliver, Monstrous 44 by Sana Takeda, Joe Fixit 3 by Eric M. Gist, and Superman 2 by Tony S. Daniel.
Oh, that was awesome. That was perfect.
Any comments before we start revealing?
Can I say that again, Pat?
Do you have anything to say before we started getting into the reveals?
I guess Tom commented how this was a strong week, but then I got other feedback from other people that they thought, oh man, I don't like any of these, and I think I sit right in the middle, or probably a majority that I thought were good. Maybe there's actually only one that there's 2 I don't like, but one of those are good. And the other one, I'm like, oh yeah, I wouldn't have put this on the list. What say you?
Yeah, I was going to ask you if I was one of those people that commented that it wasn't a good week, because I didn't agree with Tom.
Oh, I didn't even see your comment. No, I was actually talking about people in my family. So you felt that way too. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. I had a hard time picking this week, especially because there was a couple that I kind of liked, but then I saw things that bugged me about them.
Gotcha. That seems to be, as awesome as it is to be extremely artistic, which I would say you, and another example being Johnny. That might hurt you sometimes, because a lot of this stuff I don't even notice until you guys point it out. So it's like I'm not scrutinizing it to the same detail as you guys are sometimes, maybe.
Right.
But yeah, the one I think is kind of falls short of being in the top 10 in my opinion is the Joe Fixit one. I don't really like that one. That's probably one you love though, right?
No, I didn't care for that one. I think Mike really likes these Joe Fixit covers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the other one that I really like, which I can appreciate how awesome it is, but that I don't really like, but I can appreciate how awesome it is the Deceased. I don't think that homage goes with the title or, kind of the subject matter of that book. You know what I mean? I didn't really care for that one. You like that one?
Yeah, I didn't care for that one either myself. So.
Gotcha. All right. So who are the winners though? Hopefully it's ones we actually do think are the good ones.
Okay. And hopefully Mike has them in order here, because I'm just going to go with it. Coming in at number 3, we have Avengers Age of Ultron. Rage of Ultron, excuse me.
To me.
That's shocking to you?
Yeah.
Well, you're looking at 2 people Valor gets in the frame that voted for that cover.
Really?
I like that one.
None of us voted for that. And when I say us, I'm talking about my immediate family in my household.
Yeah, I thought it was. First of all, I'm a big Nick Bradshaw fan, and I like this Avengers beatdown cover, I guess. So.
Okay. Which this obviously wasn't the ones I thought was bad. It's just, that wasn't even in my radar for the top 3. I probably had 5 that I was kind of flipping between for the top 3, and this wasn't one of those. Okay. Apparently I'm wrong though. Okay.
I like all of the cover, other than that Ultron design. I don't like him like that. It's just a weird design.
See, this is why you're the apple doesn't fall from the tree. This is why I love your dad too, Valor. And you just pointed out to me. Yeah, maybe that's what I don't like about it too. He does seem kind of beefy.
Yeah.
For the typical Ultron that we know. Okay, good looking at it, Pat. Thanks.
All right. Coming in at number 2.
Ayla's here chiming in. She's like, no, he looks exactly like that in the movie. What do I know?
Not exactly like that, but he's tough in the movie. He's like 8 feet tall.
I know he's big, but he's pretty. I think maybe it's his arms in particular, and then his waistline, huh?
I agree.
Yeah,
he is a little. He is a little. His torso is a little huge, in my opinion, on this cover. But I still voted for it.
Okay.
All right. Coming in at number 2, we have Doctor Strange number 1.
Yes.
By Alex Ross.
I'm surprised again, not because this one's in here. I'm surprised this one didn't win. But because this is a great one, we all voted for this. I think this is actually the first cover in a very long time where everybody in my household voted for this one of the same cover, and there was this one.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, I voted for this cover. Valor did not vote for this cover.
Now that I'm looking at it again, I actually kind of like it.
Okay.
So
close to a clean sweep.
Yeah.
So far I'm doing pretty well. I got 2 of these covers.
Okay.
It's not looking so good for number 1 though. But it goes right in line with your review, Kevin, because number 1.
Sweet.
Monstrous 44.
I do believe I got 2 of 3. This one was definitely in my top 5. I don't know whether it actually made the third cut. Can you put the 10 up real quick?
Yeah, I can. Real quick, is that the same character as on number 2?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I would totally assume it was from what I've read so far. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Yeah, I voted for Doctor Strange. I think my second one was Spider-Man. Yeah, I think Monsters was the third one. It was either Wonder Woman or Monstrous. So yeah, I think it was Monstrous. Yeah. And I voted for that Spider-Man. So
if I can say something before you take that down. I like the Spider-Man on the very right, like the top right one.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. Yeah.
My only problem with it is he's holding a knife.
Well, I think it has something to do with the storyline. I think it's a Kraven the Hunter storyline. I'll go to the other Spider-Man cover. I'm normally I like John Romita Jr. I know he has his detractors, but I couldn't figure out what was going on with the creature's right hand there. Is he have like a stumpy hand? It's just like it. There's no fingers or something.
That's true. Yeah. Do we even know what that? Well, you're reading that, right?
Yeah, but I'm probably about 3 or 4 issues behind, so I'm not sure who it is. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's maybe that would explain what his hands are doing there.
Maybe.
And what's going on with this? The other thing, I like that Superman cover visually, but I don't like it. Its context, because this is one big issue I have with Superman Returns. I hated that movie for many reasons, but the biggest one being the end of that. He was chained by kryptonite, and he was able to come up with the strength to break the chains or something like that. And it's like, how is that a thing? You have to be chained by kryptonite, but still have the strength to break chains. Right? I mean, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's why I didn't pick that Superman one, even though I like the look of it in general, so, but anyway.
All right.
Great job, Pat.
It was hard work tallying all the votes, but Mike did it so I could read them. So thanks, Mike.
Yeah. All right. So then actually that brings us to a whole lot of people's favorite episode, and we'll see how we get flashy here, I guess, right? That's what's up here, right?
Yep, we're gonna get flashy.
All right, let's get flashy.
All right, let's get flashy right out of the gate here. You didn't catch my reference. Todd McFarlane, of course, he continues his massive onslaught of announcements, and he announced all the product for the Flash movie, or at least a good chunk of the product for the Flash movie. And there we see the main line, the DC multiverse line. We have the Flash himself. Who they're calling multiverse Batman, that would be the Michael Keaton Batman. Supergirl, another Batman. I am a little confused here. I don't know if this is supposed to be Ben Affleck Batman. It doesn't really look like him a whole lot.
It doesn't.
But they're just calling him, Batman. And then we have the weird figure that I just had to post this week to the Xcellar group because I thought it was so hideous. We have Flash in repainted Batman armor.
Ugh.
And then we have Dark Flash.
Hold on, before we move on, hold on. So I have to ask this, and you probably know this, Pat. Johnny's reference where he was like, I didn't like Batman Flash in the 90s, and I don't like him now.
Yeah.
So what was going on with Batman Flash in the 90s?
No, I think it's just the style of mask Johnny was referring to. I should have maybe dug into that a little deeper.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, okay. It's just the look. It's not really any cross reference.
It was just coincidental, and then we got this dropped on us this week. And it just was perfect for what Johnny had said. We literally have Flash in the Batman outfit, only repainted to Flash colors with apparently nipping off the ears.
Yeah, that's a bad figure, definitely.
Unfortunately, I even maybe I shouldn't even post this. I hated to almost post that because obviously this is a big spoiler for the movie.
Oh yeah, well. Karen puts up a comment from Mike that he loved Joe Fixit. Okay. Yeah, we know.
Should get that guy on the show sometime. He seems to be commenting an awful lot.
Yeah.
So that I just happened to pull him because I thought he was so hideous.
Well, and maybe I shouldn't ask this question then, because if you're saying it's a spoiler, I'm not really getting how it's a spoiler though.
I assume it's a spoiler.
Okay,
these are all Flash movie figures. So
yeah, I don't know how that is. Obviously it's something. But it doesn't spoil anything for me because I don't get it. So
I have speculation, but I would just leave it.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
And then we also have a gold label. I don't know. These are like a little more limited. But this is the unmasked version of the multiverse Michael Keaton Batman, which I'm not really sold on that likeness either. I wish I had like a closer head sculpt shot for you to see, but even from there, I don't know. A lot of people were kind of memeing this figure up. He almost looks like Kiefer Sutherland from the Lost Boys more than he does Michael Keaton.
Yeah, I was actually going to say he looks more like, well, is that gray hair? Is that gray?
Yeah.
I was the face itself. I was going to say looks more like Val Kilmer than Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
I can see Kiefer Sutherland.
We also had some vehicles. There's also some statues, some McFarlane produce statues, but I didn't put pictures of those. I stuck to the action figures. And
I'm sorry to interrupt you again. Can I ask a question about this before you take it down?
Yeah, sure.
Does it have a mask with it too?
It doesn't look like it, does it? I don't know what those.
I don't like it.
I don't know if those are fists up there in the top upper corner or what they are, but I think that's the idea, though. They want you to buy 2 figures because you know he's in the main line here.
Wow.
And then he's an unmasked version.
Yeah, who wants an unmasked Batman? Ugh.
Unless he's going to be unmasked a lot of the time, which is
awesome. That would make me so angry. I don't know what to think of the new Flash movie in general. As far as I'm mixed on how I feel about everything.
Yeah, I was really not looking forward to it. I'm a little behind in my DCU anyway, but I was not looking forward to it. But I really thought that trailer was cool. Whether that's because of the Batman influence,
I was looking forward to it originally when I first heard about it, and then when everything happened with what's his name,
Ezra Miller.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, that sucks. And then I wasn't looking forward to it. And I think I also got to see like some stills of preview or whatever. And I was like, oh, that doesn't look cool. But yeah, then the trailer's like, oh, maybe that does look interesting. I don't know what to think, So, and of course, that was when I wasn't looking for it. It was also before they were revealing that Michael Keaton was going to be in everything, which then, of course, piqued interest there as well. So yeah, I'm totally conflicted on this movie. I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see. And so we have something from the ride around in. We got a Batmobile, full-size Batmobile to go with the 7-inch figures. This has been a big point of discussion because we had the old HasLab Ghost Rider vehicle was so expensive at $350. And Todd's bringing this in at $60.
Well, this is what I have to say about this. This seems like garbage to me.
It's very, very basic toy level vehicle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which I thought was strange based on how, high quality. It seems like, if you're going to have the same quality of a vehicle for the quality of the action figures, it would be above this. It seems like probably when you pick this up, it's like a plastic shell,
That's the impression I get myself.
Yeah.
Which is odd because we also have the Batwing coming in at $250.
That's insane.
Now, what, is this, it's obviously hard to tell from just these shots, but, is this a much higher quality vehicle? It's a little larger, I'd say, because of the huge wings, but I don't think the wings would really make up, there wouldn't be really much to them.
Right.
So, why the big swing in price range there? I don't know.
That seems insane. But that video that I've seen it like 3 or 4 times because everybody's sharing it of Todd showing off the Batmobile. I thought 2 things were odd about that video. One, I think it actually showed more, you can make assumptions when you see a picture like that picture you just showed and the price point, and you're like, you can make assumptions on that.
Right.
But I feel like he showed us and kind of proved it, for lack of a better way to describe it, about how this was garbage in that video. It's like you can hear it flimsiness, and when he turns it, it seemed not very articulate and nice. And then, did you see it? Did you see, what video I'm talking about? Did you see it?
I did see it, but I didn't probably look at it as closely as you did.
Okay, he actually talks about how you can put the Michael Keaton Batman in it, right?
But he doesn't do it.
But he doesn't do it. He like starts to articulate the figure, and then he's like, "Oh, but I don't want to."
Oh, you guys get the idea.
I'm like, that was a horrible video. I was thinking that totally. If I had speculation of how this wasn't a good vehicle before, his video proved it to me. Like I said, and it just doesn't seem. The quality doesn't match, and that makes it even crazier with what you're saying about the Batwing now too. That's insane. What's he doing?
Yeah, and that's I just don't understand the argument. People were putting it up against the Ghost Rider, Charger vehicle from HasLab, and saying, well, how can he make it for $60 and theirs was $350? Well, you could see the quality in that HasLab Ghost Rider car, definitely. Even though I still think it was overpriced.
Yeah.
But there's to me, it's a night and day difference.
I agree completely. Yeah, yeah. And we're hoping that, well, we're thinking that the Batwing would be more similar to quality of the Ghost Rider rather than this. Yeah, this. Oh man, I was so because I would, if there was something that I would consider spending that kind of money on if I could afford it, it would be this Batmobile. If it were that Ghost Rider quality,
Right.
But this is not good. Trash. I will not buy this.
Okay, so we'll move away from Flash. How am I sounding to you, Kevin?
You said okay. Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting an echo on my end.
Oh, I don't hear it on here. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so Hasbro is doing Mando Mania Wednesdays to coincide with the release of the new episode of The Mandalorian. And this week, not big announcements, but this week they announced 2 Tusken Raiders, one in Vintage Series and one in Black Series. So we have the Black Series Tusken Chieftain, around 25, usual price point of Black Series these days, and the Vintage Collection 3 3/4 Tusken Warrior.
Oh man. Okay, back up for a second. Mando Mania is going to happen every week. Is that what's supposedly going to happen?
Yeah, that's what I hear. I'm surprised it didn't time out exactly with the release of the show, but I'm guessing it's going to go, as long as the show is putting out new episodes for season 3. But that's speculation. I don't think they really gave an answer to how long. It's definitely more than 1 week.
And what did you say it was? What day was it again?
It's Mando Mania, comes out on Wednesdays, the same day as the show does.
Mando Mania Wednesday. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Man, I love these. I'm a huge Tusken Raiders are in my top 5 favorite Star Wars non-main character, races, whatever you want to call it. I love Tusken Raiders so much.
Yeah, and say what you will about them in Book of Boba Fett, which is where these are both coming from. But certainly no problems with the designs. It was very interesting to see the new Tusken Raiders that showed off on the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, let me say this too, and not that anyone cares, but I like to input thing about my previous life. So I played a game called Star Wars, the trading card game, okay? And they would do a lot of exploring with offshoot characters,
Right.
And they had quite a few Tusken Raider cards of differing, you could obviously tell types of Tusken Raiders,
Mm-hmm.
And I thought Boba Fett did a good job of having those different types,
Yeah.
down to their pet and then what the kids would look like and what the females would look like and all that, so yeah, and I think when we first talked about Boba Fett too, we obviously the focal point was him being saved / trained, saved, kind of imprisoned and then trained by Tusken, that whole storyline with Boba Fett. And I think we both thought it was a pretty good direction to go, so that made me like the Tusken Raiders even more,
Right.
So yeah, I love these. I might be grabbing these.
Okay, so I think after Wednesday they had on Thursday or Friday they had what they're calling Walmart Con. And
hold up, is this new?
What's that?
Is Walmart Con new?
I think it's the first one they've had, but don't hold me to that. All these retailers have been having these special events, and a lot of it stems out of Toy Fair no longer being in January when all the new products are announced. So they're still putting out product around the same time, but in order to make the announcements of the specific retailers are sort of doing the heavy duty, the legwork of putting out new product and showcasing new product. And that's what we have here in Walmart Con.
Okay.
So they had a lot of Hasbro stuff for throughout the different lines. We just talked about G.I. Joe a lot last week. They showed a Big Ben figure, and a Range Viper.
Well, they seem to be sticking with the no bubbles on these, though, huh?
So far, yep.
Yeah. They look cool.
Speaking of no bubbles, we can go over that. I've shown this guy previously when they first announced them, but here he is on card, and he ended up being part of this Walmart Con. That's Craven the Hunter from the Spider-Man animated series. I hate the face on this figure. This basically the same Kraven that had been released in Marvel Legends, 2 or 3 years ago. That was a great figure. Unfortunately, I never did pick him up. Here he's getting re-released with that animated style deco, and I just don't care for it.
I don't like it either. Yeah. I mean, Kraven's a bad, but this character, this action figure does not look tough.
I'm totally in agreement with you there.
Yeah.
I should have pulled up the other photo of his old release, because that was a really nice figure. And the other Marvel figure we have from the Walmart con is a MCU Ronin figure from Hawkeye.
That's interesting. That looks pretty cool.
And he is in the all cardboard packaging. So
that's what one thing I always thought about, obviously what we got in the in Infinity War, and then what we got in Hawkeye, there just wasn't enough Ronin, because I thought he looked so cool, but they kind of glossed over him at all. And we got to see more of Kate in the Ronin outfit than we did, Hawkeye,
Right. Yep.
That looks pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, and the last bit of Walmart Con was Star Wars related, and that's Clone Commander Jesse, which I believe he had been shown previously by me on the show. But it turns out he's part of this Walmart Con. So, and he's, I think, all the other Walmart Con exclusive that I just talked about were all $25. For some reason, Jesse is $28. Not sure why.
The biggest IP, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So regarding Walmart Con, I just got to go back to that to understand it. So is this just a title to give a bunch of things to release? It doesn't mean anything else. Like, there isn't actually going to be a Walmart Con, like, physically. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're correct. That's exactly what's going on. It's just to release new product.
Oh, it's just a name of a time frame to give. Oh, okay. That sucks.
Yeah.
Yep. It's stupid now.
Right. Okay, moving on from Hasbro. I guess another company that's been week after week is Super 7, and they showed off 2 new lines for their reaction series, and that is Black Hole reaction figures.
Oh, man. You gotta be kidding me. Oh my God, I'm such a huge Black Hole fan. I love that movie. That's one of the, oh man, I still have the album. I've listened to it recently. Oh my God, the score, it's so good.
Yeah, this is a movie I haven't watched in a long time, and I did pick it up. It was like they released it on Blu-ray. It was a Disney Movie Club exclusive, but I haven't had a chance to watch it. It's been forever since I've seen this, but I always loved the robots.
Yeah, definitely.
And
our studio audience are fans of Black Hole as well.
And it doesn't, obviously it doesn't get much merchandising. So these look good for, little 3 3/4 inch reaction figures.
They do. Yeah, I like it. It looks good. Definitely.
They definitely went out, they're known for the card art. Here they've incorporated the actual robots into the card,
which is pretty cool. Yeah,
I agree. So yeah,
probably the last time I watched it, I would say it's been a while for me too, but maybe not quite as long as you, but maybe 10 years ago, and I still loved it. Now, and it's definitely obviously some nostalgic appreciation, as far as the quality is concerned and stuff, but overall I still loved it just as much as I did originally. So yeah, this is good, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, what's the price?
These will be normal reaction figures, which is good or bad when you consider that they're small little, well, for Bob and what is it, Old Bob, and I forget their names. Is it Bob and Old Bob, or does the other one have a different name?
I forget as well. Yeah.
And then Maximilian is the bad red robot, but these will be the typical $20 reaction price point.
Yeah, that's not bad, man. I gotta find these. Are these? Did you say when these are coming out, or when?
They just announced them this week. I don't know if they went up for pre-order. I can let you know. Usually when Super 7 does announce something, they put it up at least on their webpage for pre-order. So yeah, we can just check there.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, we're going to stick with the obscure Disney license, and we also have Tron reaction.
Oh, nice. I was actually, this might sound crazy to a lot of people, but I was actually a bigger Black Hole fan than I was Tron. I thought, I can definitely appreciate Tron, but I just wasn't a huge Tron fan. But these are very cool. These are very cool though.
I'm not this. I should have got this straight beforehand, but I think these are exclusive to Disney parks, unfortunately. The Tron stuff, not the Black Hole.
Yeah, understood. Yeah.
But there's, besides the reaction figures, I think there was a few more high-end items associated with Tron too, but I just included the reactions here. But keeping it out there. And I think there's I think there's another new Tron movie coming out, if I'm not mistaken.
There is.
Oh, really? I like the new Tron. I actually like the new Tron better than I did the old one.
I didn't see that one.
I mean, I thought they did a pretty good job. Yeah. These figures kind of look kind of lame though. I don't know. They could have done something differently with maybe a little bit of maybe some, for lack of a better way to describe it, like see-through plasticky kind of stuff to make it seem more luminescent or something. It just kind of looks like a flat blue. It doesn't look right. I don't know.
Yeah, it's almost, you take first glance, it almost looks like the same figure 4 times.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And those bikes, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, but it's what it is.
Yeah, you keep in mind it's reaction, so it's
right.
It's on the the lesser end of articulation, paint apps, things like that. Yeah. But some, I think, translate better than others, and this may be a case of a line that might need a little more. Might need a little more pizzazz or whatever, because of the property that they're trying to produce here.
Yeah, like I said though, I'm glad I'm not a Tron fan, because you can't get anywhere except Disney, because man, every time I see a video, whether it be someone short or real or whatever, and they're showing off Vincent and Bob.
There you
go. Thank you, Karen. But every time I see videos where people get this exclusive stuff from Disney, so jealous. It's always Star Wars, of course, that I'm jealous of, and we actually went to Florida one. I've never actually been to Disney. And we went to this nice, it was kind of, for lack of a better way to describe it, it was like a strip mall, but it was all Disney, Florida. And they actually had a Disney store there that you could get all exclusives that Disney typically only has in Disney. So I think that's actually, I don't know whether when you say the only place you can get this is in Disney World or Disneyland, they break the mold there or whatever with this single Disney outlet store kind of thing, That's the way I understand it. If I could be wrong, but I like that, because then I don't have to pay the money it costs to Disney to be able to get these, But I don't think there's any of those around here. They're all in Florida or California, I'm sure, even the outlet store, but
yeah, a lot of times some of these exclusives are making it onto Shop Disney, their website. So, but I don't know if this is the case here. It's something to keep an eye on, though.
Yeah, okay.
And we're gonna finish it off with 2 other 3 3/4 inch lines. We haven't talked about them in a while, but the long box heroes, they're close to entering production phase, and they're showing these are actual production pieces to try to give you an idea of the scale between the figures. These are all, at least here, these are unique pieces for each single one of these figures. So they kind of scale out different sizes, which is cool.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Here are the paint masters, the final paint masters for the series. And well, some of the series, the main line of the series. There's other variants, of course, but and Jason Geyer released pictures of the first final card art. He's completed the Rocketeer. There's the front of the card, and there is the back of the card.
It looks really good.
I think it's cool that they're spotlighting, the comic on the back. Here, they're actually showing the first comics version of Rocketeer by Dave Stevens, and they're also showing the current the more recent IDW Rocketeer series, which is nice. And they're using actual artwork by Dave Stevens on the front of the card, which is cool. And that's going to follow the line. You know, I'm sure they're going to use original art from the creators where they can. So this is the last. If I didn't mention it, this is the last week. I think it ends at the end of the month. For even though they got, they did the whole production of getting pre-orders in to make sure the line would go through, but they're still up until next week, I think, taking final orders. So this is your last chance. The only place you can get them is at Big Bad Toy Store.
Okay. All right. Did you say you had one more of those?
I did. Sorry. I had to get a drink.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, sorry. I'm hearing it too, Karen.
I'm still not hearing it on my end, but yeah, Karen apparently is. Okay.
To me, Kevin, you're a little bit staticky too. I don't know if Karen's picking that up on for you.
Ugh.
Real quickly, the last thing I want to talk about was the Marvel Legends 3 3/4 inch retro series that I talk about all the time. They announced that they are putting a pause on this line. They're not saying it's canceled, but as of right now, what you're seeing here is everything that is being released at this point. They might revisit it in the future. I mean, this happened with the Vintage series for Star Wars. They quit making the Vintage series for a few years and came back to it. So I'm hoping the same happens here, because they had a real ambassador from Hasbro, Steve Evans. He really loved the line. He seemed to really put a lot into it for the Hasbro employee, Steve Evans. And he came out and made a video saying they're going to, it's on hiatus. They're going to pause. Their term they used is resting. They're resting the line. But it could come back if there's enough demand. And in I'm in a group of Retro 3 3/4 inch on Facebook, and it's always had a very strong following, and everybody there sure hopes it comes back. So we'll just have to take a wait and see.
I like these figures.
See what happens. Yeah, if you haven't picked any up, a lot of them are showing up at discount stores like Ollie's and Dollarama stores in Canada, and hopefully maybe Five Below is a place to keep an eye out for them. And a lot of the main stores like Target and Best Buy have clearanced them out. So if you're looking to pick them up, you can still snag them at a discount. And it's a fun line to collect. Great card art. And I hope it does come back sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I like them too. They're definitely awesome. Seeing this all together makes me... Is this your checklist?
No, well, it is my I've checked them off. Yes. Steve Evans, the guy I was talking about previously from Hasbro, put this together on his own, the graphic.
Yeah, but you've got the red dots marking the ones you have?
Yes, correct.
Awesome.
The only thing the end of the line there, the Wave 8, those have been released. They've shown up in small quantities in certain stores, and the Ghost Rider on the motorcycle is the same deal there. He hasn't popped up everywhere yet. So I'm hoping they're not too hard to get. I should probably get pre-orders if I really want to get them.
But you have something against that Cyclops, or that's just oddly enough the ones you can get?
So those ones are just variant card art, and I initially wasn't too worried about them, but I've gone back and filled in, and those are the 3 that I have in the initial packaging, but I don't have them in the variant card art. So I'm missing Cap, Spidey, and Cyclops.
Amazing.
Karen's amazed by that. Which part, Karen? That he has all those? Are you gonna get that Ghost Rider?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
At this point, I'm gonna try to finish it off as is right now. So I have a complete collection now. So
Yeah, she's amazed you have all those. Yeah, Karen, you're that's one thing that collectors like us do. We definitely amaze people that aren't like us as to why do you have so many?
There's not, I don't think, no, I know there's no other line that I'm all in on currently, so.
And that's the least expensive one out of the lines you could choose from, right?
Yes.
So anyway, that was awesome. Man, yeah, I got like 2 or 3 more things on my list here that I need to get. This keeps growing and growing without my wallet growing and growing. Oh, Karen's clarifying that it's good, amazing. She's not dogging us. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Karen. All right, awesome. Let's get into our final segment here. I've got a suggestion for a new way to deal with our final segment as well. So we'll talk about that after we show it. Are you ready?
Kind of, but yes.
Okay, cool. So I think back in the day, when this whole recap, obviously starting with Johnny's recap, originated, what seemed fun about it that just seemed to our recent, at least for a while, just haven't recaptured, in my opinion, the same feel of Johnny's recap. Do you agree with that, or you think I'm totally off base?
I still like it.
I like it too, but it definitely, maybe it was the flow. Maybe it's the flow, and maybe that was because we're trying to split it between 3 of us as opposed to 1.
Yeah.
That might have to do it. But there was something different about it. So I have a new suggestion regarding the recap. Okay.
All right.
So if you've got something awesomely clever, which I know especially you do quite a few times, then definitely input that. But what I want to have as a staple foundation to work from for the recap in general is to just recap your segment, like literal. So I'll go first. Wait, let's switch this up here. Okay, I'm first. Okay. So to recap, Mando episode 3 was awesome, and he got a taste of his own medicine. Last of Us was the best of us. Dark is definitely worth checking out. The Ark is only if you want something family friendly for kids. Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent was definitely bearable, but not as great as I hoped it would be. And then, then Mike would go into his whatever. And then you go, he's like that. Does that sound like a good deal?
Yeah.
For a foundation?
Yeah.
Did you have anything particularly clever to say first, I should say?
I just have.
Okay. Karen has a recap. Okay. Holding a baby, even incorrectly, gets a cover to the final. Nice. That's a good one, Karen. Nice.
I just had, because of Valor doing the Sweet Tooth review, it made me realize that, why are children always the key to solving global pandemics?
That is true. That is true. And Maika in Monstrous, yeah, she's actually, I don't think they actually say her age, but she definitely strikes me as maybe a late teen at the oldest. She's definitely a kid too. So Monstrous and Sweet Tooth share some similarities too, and one of them is that they're both good.
Yeah, I would say, just to do my Horizon recap, Walmart Con is not an actual con, or is it? It sort of is a con. More Tusken Raiders are always a good thing. Todd shouldn't be so cheap on his vehicles. Let's see. Flash in a Batman costume is a bad idea, and always good to see obscure Disney 3 3/4-inch figures, and don't rest too long. Marvel Legends Retro 375.
Nice.
Valor has a recap.
Oh wait, Valor's got a recap. What's up, Val?
I do know that there's 3 things that Pedro Pascal is in that you reviewed this week.
You do.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
everywhere.
He is busy. He's busy. He's not, he's not only busy with his work in general, but he is sure making the rounds, publicizing himself, it seems, as well, too, right?
Yeah, I saw him on Hot Wings, and I also saw, thanks to you, Kevin, you showed me that Buffy clip.
Yeah.
I remember that episode, but I sure as heck don't remember that. I don't remember him, of course.
Yeah, when I saw that, I couldn't believe it. Yeah, it was cool. So, all right, I think we did pretty good without Mike there. Okay, first. First question before I get into the closing here. Is all my staticiness done, or am I good now?
It's not as bad.
Dang, let me try one more time then. All I do is kind of reboot, you know what I mean? So.
Muted.
How about that?
Keep going. So far, so good.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Is that good? Can you hear me? Okay,
yep.
Good. Nice. Okay. I just didn't want to make the closing because I got a lot to say, too unbearable. So let's get into this. So first of all, I want to make mention, we're not going to have a show next week. 2 weeks is the next show. Secondly, we're doing our Scruffles goal sweepstakes giveaway. We've hit the goal, and we're definitely going to do it in 2 weeks as well. But you've got 1 week to do what you need to do to get an entry into that, which is share, comment, retweet, follow, like, or subscribe any of our content anywhere, and especially like it here, comment here, sub here. That's what the big idea behind Scruffles Goals giveaway is anyway, to get more subs on YouTube. So we're definitely doing that in 2 weeks. You've got 1 week to vote. We're doing Pokemon. We're going to have a Pokemon segment in 2 weeks. And, of course, vote on the Cover Combat finale. 3 books are up right now on Facebook. All right. Did I forget anything else before I get into my regular stuff here, Pat?
I don't think so.
All right. As I just said, please like and comment on this video, as well as subscribe and hit that bell to get notifications every time we post something. Who knows, we might change it up to where we might do something where we're putting out regular videos, not just Sunday. So make sure to hit that bell to get all of them. Please subscribe to Comics and Collectibles in the Crawl Space on Spotify for podcasters or many other podcast providers. And please listen to the edited podcast of this live stream on Spotify that will be posted later today or tomorrow. Then follow XcellarComics on Facebook, Instagram, and or Twitter, and follow Xcellar_comics on TikTok and whatnot. Watch our shows on the Whatnot app on Tuesday and Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can bookmark those shows right now. And I actually moved Tuesday to Wednesday last week for unforeseen reasons. And just to give people a heads up, that's the biggest reason you want to bookmark in case I do move. I do tend to move times, I would say fairly regular. This was the first time I moved it to a different day completely. But if you bookmark it, it'll always let you know whenever I'm going to start, no matter when it is. So please do that. I'm going to try Tuesday and Thursday again, but who knows, it might change. And of course, since I just notified people it might change, that means it won't. Because everything I say, the opposite tends to happen.
Right.
Check out what we have to offer on eBay at Xcellar_comics and XcellarComics.com. Getting better every week at getting that website updated. And we will be offering things for sale on that website. I'm going to say it here, guaranteed within the next month. So definitely check it out. We're trying to work out the kinks there. And then, of course, watch our next live stream. I've got next Sunday on there, but it is, as I said before, in 2 Sundays at 1:30 p.m.-ish Eastern Standard Time. And, man, we had a pretty good Tuesday, Thursday, whatnot shows last week, too. So I'm really happy. I think the biggest solution to getting more interactivity on whatnot is to have more shows. And that makes a lot of work, but I don't think there's any way around it. And we need to fund everything else we do. So I need to just kind of do that. Although it does make it easier now that I've made the shows only about an hour, hour and a half. That definitely makes it easier rather than I was trying to run 3-hour shows. So doing an hour show, it seems to be much better rather than doing one show for 3 hours to do 3 shows that are an hour long. You get much better results out of that. So that's my end game where I plan to get to. So. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, studio audience. Thank you, Valor. And, of course, thank you, Pat. You got anything else to say?
That's it.
All right. Appreciate everyone being here. And until next time, don't forget that appreciating great art is awesome. And reading a great story is fun. So why not pick up a comic book and do both? Xcellar out.